blessings, salutations, and love. Welcome back once again to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, here to host some dynamic conversations, hopefully share some enlightenment, some encouragement, some inspiration, maybe even some entertainment. I'm sure all those things could come forth. Maybe even, I wouldn't be surprised if we get some disagreements and chaos that show up as well. But hey, the blessings are what life brings forth. And today, blessings, I saw man I admire here in the chat, brother Machine Lies. I dropped the link, and all are welcome to join the conversations today. The topic I'd like to kind of guide us through a little bit, and Machine Lies is a man, please. This is a man who can certainly contribute to this topic, the idea of duality and life, how to overcome those things while we're here, trapped within duality and life, and kind of exploring what life might bring. There's a guy I haven't seen you in a while, Austin Murphy. Good to see you, my friend. Happy New Year to you. The thumbnail today, let's jump to that. Oh, that's what that is. I loved this idea. Believe in your dreams and they may come true. Believe in yourself and they will come true. And so, brothers and sisters, as we're starting out this new year, right, growing into another calendar, what can you do to believe more in your success? What can you do to gain greater clarity on your success? Well, that's one thing you can do to help yourself believe more in your success, is gain clarity. And what does success feel for you? What is your heart and your spirit drawing you forth to become or to experience? And what can you do to grow into your dreams? This world teaches us a lot about this give and take and, sacrifice and save. There was a point I was getting to. What was that? It was tied to that question. Oh, what can you do to grow into your dreams? This life is an exchange. We're in an infinite field of energy and information, light and frequencies. We're here to grow, just like nature, just like the plants and the animals. We're here to grow into abundance and share the fruit of what we become, who we become. So if you've got a dream for your future, recognize today you might not be the man or woman to accomplish what's in your mind or in your heart. Today you might not be that person, but with some growth. And that's the key. What can you do to grow into your dreams? What do you need to learn in order to well, in order to manage an industry? What do you need to learn? If I'm going to be traveling and hosting talks, conventions, or events, what do I need to know? Whatever your heart is drawing you towards, recognize today is where life is happening, right? And the happening of life from yesterday and the past, the happenings of life brought us to today. And so today's a new moment, a new opportunity to capture, recapture, and discover what life can bring. I've been looking into where did I come across this? Someone shared it with me, I believe. My mind has recently, I've been traveling into the concepts of the the field of energy that we're living in. There is a there's a singularity in the universe. There is one, like, this is what I've been trying to understand how to explain what I've accepted for myself. Took me a while to figure out how to accept this stuff for myself. The idea of oneness, of there is no separation from me or you. There's no separation from anything, anywhere, right now. And right now is where life is happening. So, at the very least, we are all connected throughout the universe, all around the planet, up to the stars, the moon, beyond, whatever. Time unifies us. We are in this timeline together, right here and now. And the world of the past that we grew up in, it teaches us this duality. It reinforces the duality of the light and the dark. Children in my where I was taught, children were predominantly taught um, what to do and who was wrong. And this idea of other people telling us what to do all the time, it's at some point it has to be intentional, right? The brainwashing that's happened all around the world. At some point, someone recognized the damages they were doing, but many, many don't know. Many have not known the right way for our minds and hearts, even though the evidence is clear and the knowledge has been there forever. Praise God. Let's take a moment right there if we can. Praise God. Sincerely. The source and creation that makes all this possible. All of this being the life I know, the fact that I can breathe, I breathe out, and science, what other humans have learned and shared, right, is the patterns of nature that show we are connected to the trees. We are connected to the bushes, right? We breathe out what they breathe in, and we breathe in what they breathe out. And water, the miracle of this planet, and apparently signs of life elsewhere, assumed, allegedly. But water, this magical gift of water that it carries memories. um, Water is so amazing, and we take it for granted. Many of us do, except those people who don't have it. Those people who don't have water, they know how important water is. Clean water. Hell, there's people drinking dirty water just because there's not a lot of options. Praise God. Praise God. What a world it is that we live in. We live upon. We live and share with. We share this world today with all of the people from the past. Everyone who ever lived on this earth that we know. And what humanity, I never realized it because I was so worried about trying to fit in. I was so worried about trying to fit into this world, not get in trouble, do the right things and follow the rules and stay out of the spotlight, and praise God. Things don't always happen like you think they should. But I spent a lifetime worrying about trying to fit into this insane world. Now I want to change the world. instead. I think that's more logical. Got our first guest. Welcome, Dominic. How are you today, brother?
Pretty good, Jack. How are you doing, Jack?
I'm feeling blessed.
Well done.
I I allowed myself to kind of wander off there. I wasn't even paying attention to the chat or anything. I'm glad you showed up. What was I talking about? I know it involved the perfection of this creation, the perfection of our God, our creator, the source of all things that allows life to happen. That's where I was at. We've been able to learn through other human beings who lived. They dedicated their life force, their time and attention studying, trying to understand and to really break down how is life happening, in the plants and all these different fields of science. We've had a lot of humans who've dedicated their lives to learning about nature and all that is. And then we got to come along and learn a lot of this stuff. And even though I'd learned a lot of this stuff when I was young and through my life about our connection to nature, the way the tides work and the way you can plan your crops based on the sun and the moon, I'd forgotten a lot of that stuff. And then, like I said, I got so caught up on trying to fit in. Hey, here's another guest, a man who I love to listen to myself.
Thank you, brother Jack.
Good to see you. Hey, the topic today. Here's the point I'm trying to get through with today, right? The idea of duality and overcoming. Moving into non-duality, overcoming the mindset of division, and and how that benefits life. The duality consciousness, which has been conditioned based on, the patterns of divisions and wars, the duality consciousness that's created billionaires. It's created these powerful nation states, all of these amazing human beings running off and finding themselves in wars. Praise God that we get to live. And then I'm where I am. Hey, thoughts on duality, Machine Lies?
Yes, I think I think you brought up water, and you could get into the sort of the ubiquity of water. I actually have right next to me here the Tao Te Ching, and I know in chapter 8, if I could turn to this chapter 8, it's all about water there, and what he says is the highest good is like water. Water gives life to 10,000 things and does not strive. It flows in places people reject. So it is like the Tao. I love that last part, like that it flows in places that people reject. That water isn't focused on praise or blame or fitting in or taking shape, but what it is involved in is ubiquity and coalescence, you know what I mean, in a stage of utter non-rejection I mean, of anything, and I think that is one of the most beautiful parts. That why should you care how you're perceived or what you're doing. In fact, if what you're doing serves life, it wouldn't matter. Just like water. You know what I mean?
It's like
So,
water.
so that kind of split decision that we have, it comes from us questioning ourselves. In the same way that you know, when we switch between two options, we have a split decision. That is duality, just in a psychological way. Of course,
Mhm.
then we say we're separate from our family, separate from nature, and separate from humanity. That causes a delusion to emerge. But then there's also the metaphysical duality, of thinking we're separate from God and truth and these things, which is that's the ultimate poison, obviously, but yeah.
Brother, thank you. That's actually where I wanted to get into, is overcoming that illusion, the belief in the separation between us and the divine. Although, and I know that Dominic, he's got these perspectives on the field of experience, but I am curious, what is the meaning of red and black and cat am I sharing? Is that the black cat of the Wobblies? Not. Dominic,
Yes, Jack.
what is the what is the meaning?
Well, each colors have a meaning to it. I'm pretty sure people can Google it. I just gave them a little bit of a subtle hint. Something to do with intuition and wisdom, even with the cat. There's energy behind everything, Jack. And it can be explained. It can be explained in words. So it was a little puzzle I put out there.
I heard an interesting breakdown earlier, and I can't remember. I don't know if I'm remembering it accurately, but it was a connection between light, energy, and consciousness. Maybe it was simply energy and consciousness was the connection. What was the argument? That matter is condensed light, and light is condensed energy. Energy is condensed consciousness. That might have been where they were going. I'm making this up right now. It doesn't. It's fascinating to me, but we are in an infinite field of energy, and energy is eternal. And from the energy somehow, I heard this today. Consider this. Consciousness is a function of the interaction. Consciousness is a function of the interaction of energy in two different states. So it was proposed that consciousness is the result of the interaction between energy at a state of stillness and motion, which could create the observer and subject argument, if that makes any sense. Welcome.
Yeah, I once peace, London. I once heard a quote by Sun Ra that said, in order to have a motion, you must have a notion. So I think like it's important to realize that thought is a separation from being, but it's important to realize that the way we get out of that trap is to realize that everything that applies to thinking also applies to being. And then you have the second problem, which is that where did mind emerge from, within matter,
Right.
because we think that matter is not conscious, or that's but by definition, we feel that matter is not conscious. So we distinguish that there must be something called mind, but what combination of matter equals mind? And it brings us to a problem of brute emergence, that mind has to sort of emerge from matter like a fungus on top of the whole thing. So that's a problem because because we don't know when that happens or what combination
Right.
of stuff it would take to create the mind. So to assume that mind is not a property of nature forces us into the problem of emergence, of just brute emergence, and nothing in nature happens that way. To think
No.
that we're it's obvious that nature created the mind. So for us to
True.
think that we're not made out of the clay of this world, that sense of separation, it creates a sort of duality, if you will,
Yes.
between mind and nature. That's the first stage of duality.
A separation between mind and nature. And that's, I had to change some things to, I think I followed along with what you were saying. You said something though that stood out for me, an important one. Thought is a separation from being. That's brilliant. And this is where I've been trying to grow in myself. I'm pure when I'm just being. When I'm absent from thought and I'm not doing anything wrong, I'm perfect, right? So thought is an absence of being. And then you said something else that I missed the next part. There was a connection between
Thinking and being.
thinking
That,
and being.
you
And
know
then there's connection to motion as well. Thought brings the motion. Is that
yes,
right?
yes, yeah.
Your mind is deep, man. I love talking with you. Hey, and let me be polite and respectful. London, I love hearing your voice as well, my brother. How are you?
Mic check, mic check.
A little bit soft.
Yo, what's up?
Can you help me with that?
I got you up all the way now.
Okay, thanks. Happy New Year, Happy New Year, Happy New Year.
There you go.
Yeah. Happy New Year. Good stuff, good stuff. Hey, I'm liking it. You're off to a good start already. You got the machine lines up here, so you're off to a good start for 2024. Salutes to that. Salutes to that. Peace, Dom. Peace, Jack. Peace, Mohammed, my brother. Much love to the chat room. Hey, just a heads up, I'm restreaming over here, right? So we got you over here. Much love.
Respect. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Blessings to all those with hanging out with London, and I appreciate you joining, man.
No doubt, no doubt. I mean, I wanted to. Sorry, can you hear me? Is it echoing?
Yeah. No, it's coming through.
Cool. I wanted to touch on the water subject while you're on it at this moment. Like to some degree, I've heard people question where did the waters come from and how does it even get here? Right. And I've heard a few explanations on it, but one that I'm starting to come across myself, and I see it play out in the dualism, micro, macro, is the body. Water's always in the body. So it goes to like what I've been saying. Is it possible that we could live in a body? There's water contained where we are, right? And
We are in
I mean, do you understand where I'm going with it? Like since no one can tell me where we are and what this place is, what comes to my mind is when I look inwards first before anybody else tells me anything, and that's where the micro is hiding behind the macro, right? And then it comes outwards. So I believe the waters are here, just like how the waters in our body. It's here. You can't stop it.
I think I'm following you. We're layers upon layers of being. It's a magnificent creation our creator has offered us. And we get to have these minds of reasoning. and to try and figure out, what is this place? What am I? Why am I here? Those are real questions. I think I'm finally figuring them out. I never really thought about them before because I was just trying to do what I was told, because that's what the world taught me. But guess what, brothers and sisters? We're not here to do what we're told. We're not here to tell others what to do. We're here to discover. We're here, and we're not even here to tell ourselves what to do, although that is a good idea. But we're here to discover, what will the Creator allow me to do? What might I accomplish? What can I learn? Despite everything that's happened, despite the conditions right now, what can I do every day? I think that's all life's really about. Thoughts?
Yeah, and that's the beauty of looking at things as water, is because it's like the very, very famous at this point, almost cliche Bruce Lee quote, where he says water either merges or it crashes, and really what it is that in the Tao there's a water spirit that's accepting of all and rejects no one, but there's also a valley spirit, and the valley spirit is kind of shaped by the water. So the movement of the water, the erratic nature of the water, creates the kind of open or the vessel nature of this of the valley spirit. And the valley spirit is really like a primal mother, that creates without possessing. So really what it is like, if you think of it as a body, there's two aspects to us. There's the one that kind of flows wild, and then there's one that kind of is a solid rock. And we and in order to choose between the two, if we go with one of them, we'll fail. So water is like, it's like not seeing the split within ourselves, because if you merge, if things can either merge or crash, then everything that merges becomes a part of the thing it joins with, and then everything that crashes takes a piece out of whatever it crashes into. So it it fundamentally alters the direction of whatever it crashes into. So crashing of the valley is just as important as the flowing of the water. You know what I mean?
I think I get the gist. Oppositional forces create creation. The flow and the valley is a big part of it.
And that ultimately there is no opposition.
There you
like
go.
what I was trying to, because if you either merge or crash, then it's over with. You know what I mean? Right? Like whatever can happen will happen. Like we're just on the road to making it happen.
Or is the happening on the road to making us?
How does that mean?
I think both, because if you step in the river, you change the direction of the river, but no man steps in the same river twice. So it is what it is.
I've been learning this, and I'm learning how to flow. And honestly, flow is, and this isn't about this character.
What the hell?
Flow is what life's about.
I'm gonna crop that and say it is anyways.
I know.
Thank you for the endorsement.
Well, what is flow? Flow is an absence of resistance. It's It's just being able to adapt, being able to overcome, rise above. Sometimes you sink below, but you know you're going to rise up again. I'm counting on the rising again part. Life is an amazing adventure. It really, truly is. And in the greater scope of humanity, we're living life wrong, man. Life shouldn't be this way, the way that it is, with all the fear porn in the news, you know. A lot of people's creative talents are being used not for inspiration, but figure out how to manipulate and control others. It's time for people to wake up. And I heard some great conversations, not to keep going, but heard some great conversations along those lines about the past few years. It was kind of the year-end review, looking at some of the benefits. Even the wars have a benefit. People are waking up. They're waking up to just how absurdly ridiculous all of this government, military, industrial complex nonsense really is.
Maybe that's the point. Maybe that's what's happening to us is we're being given a test of not only intelligence but of you know, who are we and what do we stand for?
I think it is in the greater scope of life. I think that's what we are in the human form. We're going through these tests of life to refine our individual characters, and our individual character help influence and affect the greater.
Yeah, that's
Humanity.
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Jack, please.
I was just going to point out the obvious, man. Humanity is a confused species. I've heard it
Yeah,
said a species with amnesia. I think it's true.
yeah. I think that that there's a that it's important to realize that we all came from somewhere. You know, so I think it's important to realize that that all is one, but not everything is one. You know, so there's still separation between things because we all came from somewhere. We can't reject where we came from. You know, we came from a family, and you know, if we're gonna pay attention to the greater family that's out there, we have to start with our own town, our own local people or the people that we have around us, and also the things we know now. You know, we have to start from the basic. We can't reject everything we've ever known to start from somewhere brand new, you know, because that's separating ourselves from, you know, where we came from, because everything happens in something or on something. This is why nothing is separate. You know, it's not because you know, everything is the same. You know, that's a reduction. That's reducing everything. You know, but into a kind of miasmic sort of monism, whereas elevating things, making them part of a greater all, you know, that is that is the true essence of non duality, is bringing thing into the you know, fold, you know, instead of you know, learning um you know how everything is the same. Everything's not the same. You know, everything is unique, and that's why like everything is one. You know, oneness is also uniqueness. You know, it can't be
Right.
you know, it's not same, you know what I mean, right? That's not the good way to look at
Yeah.
one as, you know what I'm saying, right? But yeah, that's just my thoughts.
Amen. The one includes the light and the dark. It's got these abstracts, these polarities for comparisons, but the one is perfect in its inclusion with all of the uniqueness of the, you know, the individuation. This can get deep, but the real gist of it is convincing ourselves in our head I'm a part of you. You're a part of me, you know? And together we are stronger. Together we are more whole. Not everyone has, many people find ways to disagree with that, reasons to disagree, right? But this is what I wrote down from what you said, man. Acceptance. Acceptance is the key, right? We can go through our lives believing that we're superior to another, we're inferior to another. We can go through our lives believing in all sorts of these divides and separations. But if you can accept the truth, we are the forerunners on this timeline of history. I'm assuming there may be other timelines and dimensions and all sorts of possibilities, but in this timeline that we're sharing, we are the leaders for the future. We are leading mankind into the future. The future is emerging through what we decide each day. And I think each day, man, I think people.
Hey, but Jack, I think we're being, I mean, I could be wrong, right? But to some degree, I think we're being kept from the future. I think the future's already happening, and you know, we just didn't get that invitation yet.
That's interesting. Because, I mean, time really is a fascinating thing. Here's a concept. This is a little off topic, but regarding the future, it's something I found myself thinking. If it's true, you know, we meet the maker after we die, well, then God is in the future, right?
There you go.
So mankind has been taught to be afraid of the future and prepare for it in different ways. But I've fallen in love with the future that might be. It doesn't mean I'm resentful for today, because I'm super grateful for today, for what today is.
Well, on that note, I wanted to bring up 3 points that I was kind of reflecting on as everyone was talking. First, like, it's kind of funny that, you know, you have London Man, who I assume is, you know, a darker skinned guy speaking, you know, English, and here I am, a white dude in America, speaking a bastardized version of English, and you know, even though, like, you know, and because I'm sure I'm from the British Isles, and I was skimming some books when you started your show, and one was on the history of you know, Christianity, and it was a pretty scathing review of the mistakes of Christians throughout the end, and I was like, wow, this guy really doesn't like Christianity. And then I skipped to the last paragraph of the book, and he's like, we as Christians, we ought to learn from the past if we want to do anything good in the future. And I was like, wow, so he's kind of like me, where he's like criticizing out of you know, care for something, right? He's not attacking it because he doesn't care about it. He's trying to criticize it to make it better. Yeah. And you know, also I was skimming a book about the life of Saint Patrick, because I never learned about him, and I was just looking for something about you know, the history of what the British Isle people were like before Christianity took it over. But in that, he was kind of talking about how, you know, during his lifetime, he basically, you know, was a Christian who was hated by, you know, who kind of felt on all sides he was under attack. But he would go to sleep at night and have dreams, and these dreams would lead him to his next decision. And it reminded me of myself, like, how many times I just didn't know what to do, and, you know, I literally had dreams, daydreams, or, you know, sleeping dreams, and it would basically make the decision for me, and I would literally follow my dreams. And I just wanted to bring that up as a thing, because I think people use that term, follow your dreams, but I think a lot of people don't contextualize, like, what does that mean, right? And I was just kind of curious what you guys think about that concept.
you brought up a bunch, and I'm sure regarding some of those names, Machine Lies has some stuff to offer. The damn. Learning from the past. Oh, that's the thought. You did inspire something else, and I hope I'm not distracting from what you offered, Neuro Jack, but the beliefs in the religion, particularly of the Christian denomination, which has been, predominant where I've lived most of my life. There's a view that really looks down upon the pagans. Well, what is the pagan? It's kind of worshiping nature. And if you look at our modern day compared to the mindset of many of the indigenous cultures who consider themselves one with nature, it's that mindset, the so-called pagan mindset that's been rejected. I think that's what's going to save us.
The pagan mindset is the way out. Is that what you're saying?
Not directly, but it could be understood that way.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. Thanks.
Sorry to recycle it, so I brought back to you. But yeah, I understood exactly what you were saying.
No, but you're right. It's
I mean, look, sorry, to some degree, that's like with the how would you say it? The Catharism, right? When they were saying a mother and a father. Some religions exclude the mother and just proceed with the father. So yeah, I see what you're saying.
There's been many divisions, unnecessary divisions in our past, and those divisions from the past, they've been carrying us forward. But I really think it's time. I think what is happening at this time, life is like getting overcomplicated for many. Many people are facing their fears of, life and finances. And so many people are facing their own fears individually. The major structures are being challenged and stretched. We're going through an awakening. People are going to, well, it's time for humanity to wake up. Stop allowing these illusions, these thoughts, these memories and imaginations, stop allowing those things to control us. And then stop allowing these illusions of wealth and authority to well, we can change the entire system, all of the system, and it starts with each of us overcoming our divisive mind, our mind that says we can't get along, our mind that says we have to have wars. I don't think we have to. I think that's just brainwashing.
There's no thinking about that.
Well, the idea is what the religions were teaching is for people to be more loving, kind, authentic, genuine, present. And it's easier to be present and to be kind and authentic when you've got a clear mind, right? Where it's not clouded by guilt or, our judgment, our patterns of conflict. When we just chill out, we can overcome our separations. And when we chill out, go ahead, Machine Lines.
Yeah, that's one of the directions I wanted to go in as well, is that the problem of indecision, and that causing duality and the split mind, really. And it seems like everybody's got one nowadays because everybody's either bored, lazy, or concerned with artificial needs, so the superfluity of life, You know, it gets hard to see what is actually relevant and what is actually what we should actually devote our time to. So, I think it's easy for people to, kind of go into things. I think those things that you are, have mixed feelings towards, I think that we should cast them away. They're not for us, and those things that we know what to do about, we should absolutely address them right away. So that is one of the problems, is that we're caught between indecisions. And I was just reading a passage relevant to this, from this Alan Watts, from The Power of Zen, and he's talking about this kind of temperature machine, how it breaks down. And he's saying that he says 70 if 70 degrees is both lower and upper limit, the go sign will also be the stop sign. Yes will imply no, and no will imply yes, whereupon the mechanisms will start, quote unquote, trembling, going on and off. And we've all seen a thermostat do this, like switch rapidly from one side to another, and it's kind of like when you overload the thing with quick changes, it's not able to sense the difference, and it'll say both yes and no at the same time. This is a lot like our indecisive mind, when we're vacillating quickly between two decisions because of the quick change in circumstances, because things are moving so fast, we get clouded by indecision, and that causes moral paralysis.
That's a very deep and important observation, something I realized about myself. We get stuck in these patterns, caught in between indecision, and caught up with these fears of making decisions and anxiety about decisions. But you said something that was basically, if you can do, if a thought comes into your mind and it's a choice that's good for you, make it now, do it then, right? If it's something, live now, say yes to life and say yes to the good ideas in your head. And if that means breaking free of the bad, say yes to it.
Well, that's why I was bringing up the whole concept of following your dreams, because I think that we're kind of what London Man was saying too, is like we're looking so much externally rather than kind of like cultivating a relationship with God and ourselves through our dreams. And that's why I was kind of saying, like, people use the term follow your dreams, but they use it in a way where it's like conscious decision making, right? But I'm saying, like, sometimes your dreams can help you understand things that you can't directly perceive, right? Like you're looking, you're trying to read between the lines of life, and sometimes you can't do that consciously, right? You need something to, be a catalyst to that,
Yeah, I like that. That was nice. I like that. Well said. Mm-hmm.
I'm truly convinced of the dream state of life. we can, yes, learn from the dreams. The dreams can guide us. It's an experience that comes in our memory, and our dreams can reveal many things. But myself, I haven't had a lot of experience in dreams. I haven't remembered many of my dreams in a long time.
Greetings, everyone. Praise be. Jack, you bring up a good point about dreams. I would like to hear if anybody has dreams. I mean, I like to hear about dreams. I don't know if you do, Jack, but I think they're super interesting, to even work out the details of dreams. I think that's a very productive means of communication, in my humble opinion.
It can be just talking about memories as well. Now, maybe I misunderstood, but our actual dreams, the dreams that we feel inspired in our heart, I think that's different than what Neuro Jack was talking about. But Not talking against him either, though, right?
Well, I think it goes back to duality. Basically, is what I'm saying. It's like we feel this disconnection between those two things, right? Like, uh, you know, whatever is outside of our perception and whatever is inside of our perception, right? I mean, it goes back to what you're saying about, communing with the divine, right? Like we feel so separated from it, but is that us tricking ourselves into believing that, or is that reality? See what I mean?
Well, that comes into the greater picture of what is real. And really, it's our mind that forms our own reality and the reality we experience. And this is actually where I'm kind of at. We do have consciousness, and this experience is as real as we are. But I don't know that this is real.
No,
Well,
but
yeah. Go ahead, brother.
Thank you, brother. Well, I mean, you do make a good point. I mean, I feel like we can take, things that are not there and bring them into this reality for our manifestation. Like with my family, right? Before I had my immediate small family, I remember asking for them while I was incarcerated, right? I put this thought into motion and I didn't stop it until it came into my hands and I got my small family right here. So it started with me first, right? And then I slept on it. I thought about it, slept on it, thought about it through my, duration while I was incarcerated. And when I came out, it still was going on, still kept on thinking about it. And then I met my missus and then it started moving more into action, you understand? So it starts with us first. If we really want it, it will come to us, but you really got to manifest it whether you're awake or sleeping.
That's a beautiful testimony, London. I appreciate that. Here's been my dilemma. What do I focus on? I don't know what I want anymore. Flo, were you going to jump in? I mean,
but not with anything useful. I was just going to tell London maybe he should stop breaking the fucking law.
Hey, I haven't broken the law in many years. I'm a good guy.
Me too. Yay.
Yeah, I still constantly break the law because of the psychedelic drugs, but
okay, well, that's something you don't want to hear read back to you in court,
right?
Yeah, but that also relates to this dreams. If dreams can teach us anything, it teaches us that visions and thoughts are not separate. Because we can perceive things in our mind, whether they're real or not. It shows us that visual things, that our sight, sight is not a category apart from mind. As they say, the eyes are the windows to the soul. Just as words are not separate from, concepts, because words actually, I guess, as they say, the tongue is a reflection of the heart. So it's like words are fake categories for things, but those things exist in the world because nobody makes anything up. They had to get the idea from somewhere.
And I consider that source of the ideas. That's God's. I mean, that's evidence of God to me.
Right. Yeah.
And the idea that even in a jail cell, the idea comes through, and it was by your choice. You chose to play with that thought and elaborate it. I'm sure you had other thoughts of probably awful things as well, but you chose one that felt good, and it's coming through for you. I love that.
Cheers.
Let me tell the panel this. Look, if you listen to Jack Talcott, you'll start to come to understand more. Well, I know for one, the ideas that Jack's representing, I'm the type of person that wanted to double check it. And after double checking it, I can confirm and verify in an observation that, it is the truth that he speaks. And, but it's always important to test, to test the waters, I believe. But, as someone like me who's already tested the waters, I can say that what we're trying to establish here is a form of, what would you say, soul utopia.
Communist utopia.
Utopia can at least be a goal, can't it? Instead of something we oppose, even if it's not
No.
achievable.
Not possible.
Not
Stop
possible.
it, Chuck. You just got here. Don't get kicked out so fast.
Well, why do you think it's not possible to have utopia as a goal? What
Well,
is the downside?
Just look at the community anybody lives in.
And so
People
they
do
should
not.
strive. They should not have a goal for better.
Well, that'd be nice, but I mean,
That's
look
what
at
I'm offering, Chuck. That's what I'm suggesting.
Chuck, you can live in peace with people. I know you don't think it's possible, but you can.
I do live in peace.
Okay.
Not in your own peace, with others. You can live in the present moment with other people, and you don't have to fight with them. I know that most of your life you've been told who you're against.
I haven't been told anything.
Well, it's like they say, it's like everybody has their own version of a utopia. So that's the inherent problem with the utopia. But the greatest way to destroy a person, especially a fool, is to make them king for a day. So it goes to like, it goes, there's a solution for everybody. In other words,
I think that focusing on utopia is this. It's got the same problem as how most people pray. It focuses on what's lacking instead of what's there.
You guys don't understand how it works. Let me break it down real quick.
That's a pretty pretentious way to start that sentence.
It is pretentious.
I'm the best rapper in the motherfucking world. Not
We already know
even
that.
Eminem is better than me. Now,
that's
now
enough.
listen.
That's enough.
My
I'm
confidence
gonna battle
in
you right
myself-
here, right now.
No, hush, hush. Now, my confidence
Ego
in
runs
myself. Listen,
deep.
let me explain. Now, when me saying I'm the best, that's the beginning of something great. So the utopia that we strive for will never be perfect. But damn if we can't strive to get there, and we can do a better job than what we're doing now. That's what we can do.
That would have been so much better if you rapped it.
Actually, you know what? Nemesis is ready for a rap battle, I think, at most times.
Yeah,
And,
if Nemesis wants to square off against me, I'm down. I will do a rap battle right here on Jack Talcott.
Wouldn't that be a hell of a thing?
If not today, let's.
That sounds
Well,
like
I
the
would have-
closest to the utopia I'm going to get.
But it'll be all in fun. I'm not looking to.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
fine.
Until somebody gets shot.
The machine lies. The machine lies. The machine lies like his hairline lies. Yeah.
Oh shit!
That was a
Daddy
good
hands
one.
in the
That was a
sky.
good one. You got me there, sir.
But the
You got me
motherfucker
there.
don't even realize that he's looking like a. I don't even know. See, you just have to fucking throw it out there. Rapping can be just a fun pastime.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, you got it.
Inner peace, exactly. The utopia is within. And have you ever seen someone? Have you ever been around people that you're just like get a good feeling about? You're just like, ooh, I feel their good energy. That's the utopia we're trying. That's how you bring it out. Jack, all my life I've been trying to get the world to conform to me. Like be like, no, you should act this way. But what Jack is saying is that when I change, the world changes around it. I manifest it myself. And it's awesome. It's awesome to have this knowledge. Like, it's priceless. I've completely changed ever since I've been here on Jack Talcott. Talcottia is real.
Hey, Nemesis, bless you, brother. I appreciate that. Don't
And this is
don't
sincere.
oversell,
This is not an act or nothing.
I know. Um, what we're sharing, what is being discussed, it really can, depending on the state of your mind, the patterns of your beliefs, depending on where you're at. I'm telling you, some of these conversations, if you can wrap your mind around them, you'll transform your life. Because what you were saying, Nemesis, going through life, trying to control a lot of things, that was me. And that brings us a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of anger. It's all from our expectations.
And if I could clarify it better, see, I used to go to the trailer park and whoop their asses if they fucked with me on the street. I was a Billy Badass, but the thing about me is I showed up to their house on their territory. And I tried to make people say, I'll be like, you will live in peace because I'll make you with my iron fist. However, what happened was I got in trouble.
Yep.
Right?
I could
And I
gonna
thought
say,
that,
how did that
see,
work
you
out?
know, I'm a strong man. But violence ain't the answer.
No.
It's not.
Well,
I'm here to
well,
testify that ain't the answer.
well. Here's the thing: is how do you differentiate hope for utopia versus faith for utopia versus trying to create utopia, like you said, in like a material strong arm sense. Like I'll just build utopia versus believing that it's not only that you want it, but that you believe that it's not only possible, but that it's inevitable if people choose it. Those are very different views of utopia, right? Like Christians are hoping that they'll end up in heaven rather than, living as if they're already in it, regardless of the circumstance, for example, right?
According to what Jack's been teaching me, and this is just secondhand knowledge, you can get it from the horse mouth. He's on the opposite side of the panel.
The whore.
Whore.
But what
Did he
I'm
say
trying to
whore?
say is this. What I'm trying to say, Jack, you know what I mean. It's a
Yeah, I
phrase.
know what you mean.
But look, if we bring this all together, the way I understand it is this is God revealing himself to us, and we have to choose to accept it. And we have to live in the moment because this moment, this is who we are. I mean, you could correct me if I'm mistaken, Jack, but is this who we are right now?
We are, and yet we are not. That's a good question. I mean, because we are the past that we've, that brought us to here, but we can transform ourselves at any time and in any ways that we want. And so what we are today, while we are who we are today, we are such potential. Inside every one of us, there is a potentiality that has not yet been realized, regardless of age, regardless of gender, color, economic situation. There's a lot within everyone.
Yeah, I think Nemesis brought up a great point that this is God manifesting himself right now. So, God is not, available in emanations, of things that come down the line. God is here now because the truth is a living truth. So the truth is not exist in some sort of stasis or some sort of mediation, and that's why we can't have faith in the future. We have to go with what we know now. Because as we're pushed into this moment, we're shoved in between, the future and the past, and we're forced to act. We may choose what to do next, but we are forced to act. We have to act, and whatever we do, even if it's doing nothing, it will influence all other outcomes, whether we want to or not. Because silence, non-action is a legitimate response. So yeah.
Well, and
So we
Machine,
have
you
to
said
go from
something.
here. Yeah.
You said something recently about how sometimes you have to sit still to get a better view and better. You were talking about that, and it reminded me of what a lot of Buddhist monks I talked about, where They're sitting still and not doing anything, not because they believe that they don't want to participate, but they believe by sitting still they are participating in a very fundamental way that is superior for at least a period of time, comparatively to just acting all the time. And you were talking about that. Can you just remind me what your view on that sitting still as a part of what you're saying?
Well, it just goes back to the fact that any anti-action is an action for something in another capacity. So, it goes to this action that Buddhist monks, use all the time, which is wu wei, and actually the correct term is wei wu wei, which is doing, not doing. It's not non-action that you're concerned with, but it's awareness of non-action. So if you're not aware that you're not acting, then you're just kind of bored. I mean, right? So that's the problem, is that not engaging is not the same as doing nothing. You know what I mean? Doing nothing is a legitimate response if you're aware of your non-action. But,
Hey, I saw Tarek on Paul's. Tarek was on Paul's channel hanging out. What's up, Tarek?
Welcome,
yeah, watch
Tony.
that guy have a mental breakdown every day.
Everyone's welcome.
Thank you, Jack. I respect him. Hi to the whole panel.
Hey,
Peace.
You got to prove yourself to me, though.
No, hey, actually, here.
Same here.
Here.
Love
Okay.
and peace.
You know what? It's a practice for us all. We can accept that life is, and all of life can be appreciated. And it feels better to appreciate what life brings. Oh, machine lies. You said it beautifully. We're kind of trapped in the between the past and the future, and we're forced to act in many regards, but we can flip the script and recognize our freedom, and we get to act. Even though we are trapped, we get to. And I've been flipping that script completely. Not only do I get to act, but all of the past and all of the future potentiality, it's all there for me. I mean, I'm not arrogant because I know it's the same for everyone, but this world is created for us, not for just a few. And there's room for all of us. There's room for all of us when we recognize how special and unique everyone really is. And as long as no one's an asshat right here and now, I don't really have any problems.
Thank you, Jack. Good words, man. Because that's
Hey,
to me-
Tarek, what do you think of this lesson that you're learning now compared to where you were
Here,
at?
wait, please.
I just want to know the difference. Like, I just want to know how he feels on the inside, talking to Jack versus talking to the other one.
Who, Paul? Two different human beings. Everybody's got their own special, gifts, and there's nothing, no hate, no dislike against anybody on the panel.
But how do they make you feel on the inside?
Nemesis, I understand your point. I appreciate what you're doing, but please stop. Tarek, thank you. I appreciate it's an honest answer.
Yes, sir.
Aaron G, you've been patient and you were just trying to say something. Do you remember your thoughts?
Yes, brother Jack. I was just appreciating you articulating what I believe is the essential law of paradise, or what you said, utopia. This space we are born into, we call Eden, means paradise. And you were describing, Jack, the law of paradise, which is essentially to see and honor the greatest good in each other at all times. And just imagine like what that would be like if we just kept that law together.
If the world came together with that idea of appreciating, just letting go of all of the identities, all the authority, all of the memories and prejudices from the past.
Right.
Just imagine that day where everyone is life. Thank you, Lord. And
Yep.
celebrating life with each other, the neighbors and the families. You see that day.
It's so true, Jack, because the law of God says love keeps no records of wrongs.
That's what.
It is true.
No,
That's
it's not.
what was
That's what I
demonstrated.
was trying to explain to Illumitomi. I went on to Illumitomi's panel to make peace. He didn't want to make peace with me. I tried. I opened myself up to the peace. And I was just trying to teach Tommy, but he didn't want to listen.
Hey, hopefully seeds of thought were planted.
I was not hateful. I was like, Tommy, if I would have come here like I was before, I would have been blessing you out. I would have been downing you. But because of Talcott and this movement that we believe in,
Nemesis, we cannot get on a spiritual hilltop and talk down to people. That turns them off just as much as threatening them.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Like, instead of standing on the mountain, I went down to Tommy's level in the valley, and I communed with him.
But wait,
good luck on that.
Yeah, Tommy rejects love.
Well, but please also consider you're saying I'm dropping down. And while there is there's some facts to that. You're dropping down in the energetic quality, perhaps, to have a conversation, but there's no superiority. And Nemesis, please, while I honor and appreciate, you're recognizing you're receiving some value and wisdom from me. It's not me. You're choosing to notice the truth that's being offered. And I appreciate the acknowledgement, but it's a product of all that is. And that's all of us.
And Nemesis, if I may offer, brother, what you're describing is like humanity's call to self-mastery, meaning when we go to meet someone in what we might call their lower self with the intent of ascending them to their higher self, it is the ultimate, to me, masculine role we can play to really meet someone where they're at in that low space, show empathy, but also embody, say, that divine masculine leadership role to see the best good in them, which then actually lifts them. Instead of kind of using that iron fist of force, you project upon them their highest self, which then calls them directly into it with your essentially, law of paradise in action, just seeing the best in them.
I believe that we should cast down our iron and pick up our pens. And the pens of might, we can write good things about each other.
I like it, MC.
Yeah. Words of encouragement.
If you're not a writer, do it verbally. If you're not a verbal guy, do it with, sign language, like hug your spouse, hug your dog.
Well,
there's every way that we can show love.
That's right.
Yes.
I wish I could hug Chuck.
No.
One of the best ways I believe we can start practicing showing love is actually through the power of silence. Actually listening to one another when we're sharing time with one another, to be present. And I'm not specific to this panel, but that is how we connect, how we understand each other. And
I've got plenty of that.
What's that?
I got plenty of that.
I can't understand your accent.
It's a little hard.
Just kidding.
Aye, mate. I understand it. What's up, mate?
You want that tea with that crumpet?
Yeah, those Australian accents.
I understand it, mate. I can I tried to understand, like I practiced the accent so I can understand it. Hi, old mate.
You sound like country Australian, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe. It's Joe.
That's good.
What up, Joe? Cool.
We can stir up a little wrath between Joe and I. See,
we can, and then,
oh, no.
and then Jack gonna shut it down. So he only gonna give us so much leeway. Right? Time to end the show, Joe.
Joe's here. There goes the show.
I feel like Jack's about to just axe the whole bottom row, just slice it right off.
No. I think this might be the first time I've seen Joe and Chuck in several. Happy New Year, right?
Happy New Year, Jack.
So,
New Year, gentlemen. Happy New Year, all.
Happy New Year.
You're right, Jack. I ain't seen you since last year sometime. Woo, it's been a while.
I know, dude.
Hey,
lots
Jack.
changed.
Happy New Year. Live without fear. Live without fear. 2024. Happy New Year. Live without fear. Live without
Give me
fear.
a
What do you
beer.
Oh
think?
Lord.
Give me
A little bit queer.
Yeah.
Hey, I love
Might
this
be a little bit queer, but
Hey.
come here. I want to
Yeah.
bring you near.
Uh,
So we can
Hugging
both
from the
live without
rear.
fear. Live without fear. Live
Hold
without
on.
fear. Oh.
Jack just got a new intro song.
Hey, I want to
Jeez.
offer this idea, similar to London and his testimony of having this idea. It's a divine idea, and it felt right, and it's starting to manifest, or it has manifested. That's the idea that I have, sincerely, with peace on this world. I know it is coming, and I don't know how exactly it's going to happen, but I think we can avoid a lot of the pain and a lot of the potential pain and suffering can be avoided.
Get rid of all the Jews. I hear you, Jack.
No,
No, that's not what you was.
Damn it, Joe.
Oh man.
Well, hey, actually, there is a partial truth in that.
I'm gonna
Out.
I was getting scared now, but
well, the idea is the topic: overcoming duality. Let's overcome all these divisions and recognize, regardless of bloodline or color or land we're sourced from.
So everybody gets it.
What's that?
Everybody's getting it.
In the beginning, we are one. Then, in our teenagers' years, we become two.
I feel like you should be a professional wrestler.
It is called
Yes,
the
I would
I
agree.
Am. And when you summon the power of the I Am, you know? Song of
I
the
dig it. I
Sparrow.
dig it, bro. I dig
Right?
it. Yes, I dig it.
If
Yes.
I wasn't
Hallelujah.
Song
It's just
of
like
the
saying I
Sparrow.
can't, or I can't, or I won't. You create that power by you saying I am. You create that power.
Right. Song of the Sparrow. Think about that. What all could rhyme with that? Song of the Sparrow. Right hand sword.
Sparrow.
Left hand arrow.
Believe in your dreams,
Coming
it
at
ain't come
you
true.
willing
Believe
like
in
a
yourself, and they will
wheelbarrow.
come true. Chats with Jack Talcott Tuesday, baby.
Joe Cool
Is it
about
ain't
to be
Tuesday?
taken to school.
It is.
Nemesis, do you ever take a break and just listen for a little bit so we can all hear Jack's flow
This is
state?
what jail is like.
Wow. Good point,
I said, this
Tarek.
is what jail is like. If anybody's never been
I'll
to
be
jail
honest
and they
with
want to
you.
know what it's like, it's basically like this panel, except smells worse.
That's what
I
jail
know,
is like.
right?
Oh my goodness. I can imagine that. People
I
are
mean,
fascinating. What was that?
No, I was just saying, like, Machine Lies is very patient. Usually waits until he wants to speak. Flow state, I'm sorry. Joe Cool and everybody else. And then I just see Nemesis is always, like, claiming he's super religious and all that, but he won't give somebody the time to even listen.
God,
Hey,
shut the
that's
fuck
not
up,
true.
Karen.
He's actually growing and learning. He's doing pretty good today.
He's filled with
Nemesis
filled with
doing
the
pretty
spirit.
good.
I mean,
He's
that is
yes, the spirit is moving him. And whoever it was called him. Nemesis shared the other day. Part of his past was learning through the WWE, through the wrestling. He's got that. He's got that WWE energy, and that's perfect for a preacher. It's beautiful, man.
But
I want
speaking
to
of
get everybody
duality,
on notice right now. Samoa Joe is the real world's champion.
Okay, but
Excuse
Jack,
me,
would
sir.
you?
Macho Man Randy Savage would crush Samoa Joe.
Yeah, he took so much juice, he exploded. Jack, would you agree that the wrestlers are actually craving fake attention because the sport is all fake, or no?
Yeah.
It depends on what you mean by fake. It does take a physical
It's
toll on the
scripted,
body.
sir. Scripted. It's all scripted.
Why you gonna ask Jack when I'm the pro wrestling expert?
They got an
Okay,
acting
go ahead.
school for them.
I've been watching wrestling since I was sucking on the teat.
Right.
All
It's
right.
entertainment. It's entertainment. It is
Yeah,
athlete.
what's wrong with entertainment, Tarek? Why were you saying it's
Well,
doomed?
I understand the question because bread and circus. It's just like the gladiators in the days of Rome. The peasants are distracted, just told to follow the rules, and you can be entertained on the weekends. I mean,
Well,
it
that
is
wouldn't just
entertainment.
be wrestling, right? That would go
No,
for the NBA
exactly.
and everything else.
Yep.
Derek, do you have a different profile picture for when you're on a sausage panel?
No,
Yeah,
you guys
gaying
complained
up
about the shoulder.
environment.
that's
No, you
pretty
guys complained
sad.
about the shoulder, so I thought I'll put a better picture. Maybe
Like,
some
don't
people
you
get
have
Maybe we
motivated.
ought to
and
bring
say,
some
in it, or
feminine
just like
bitch energy just to even out the masculine butch energy. Just maybe we ought to just, oh God, my broken. I don't know. Just someone be feminine.
Go ahead, motherfucker.
Let me see.
Floor is
You're
yours.
strange.
There you go, Flo.
See, now when now somebody
These
just
are
casually
dog
glances
cookies.
at this and they see Chuck and they see Tarek, they're gonna be like, "Oh, this is a gay panel."
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
Shit.
That's Snafu's girlfriend.
Oh, for God's sake, I'm not Snafu.
My wife just bought my 5 dogs some good old bakery cookies.
And now if they look at my profile picture,
What is that? Is that Martin Luther King?
That's Hank, isn't it? Is that Hank?
does anybody know who that is?
Hank.
Damn, so small.
Is that the African dude? Why are you gay? Is that dude?
Yes.
Okay.
Good job, Joe.
Flo is gay. I mean,
I don't get it.
Okay.
I don't either.
I think we're getting off topic here. We're supposed to be channeling our inner soul energy.
We should
see him.
Christian.
He was a latecomer.
CM Punk is still a chap.
I don't know. It's this is the things that humans do. I mean, between the the wrestling and what's it called? The UFC, the mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
Humans are fucking brutal beasts.
Don't forget WBO. They didn't throw boxing in that.
Boxing and all of the sports. We are pretty violent, and it was fun to be violent, playing football and rugby, whatever.
Would you take that away from us because it's entertaining?
Whooping dude's ass at the trailer park like me.
I think that those are not legitimate pastimes, or I don't really think there's anything really manly about them. I think there's only 2 real sports, and they're hunting and boxing.
I was about to call you a nerd, but now I take it back.
All right, I was ready to jump on him, right? And he said,
right.
boxing, and kind of backed me up a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's
boxing.
based on an Ernest Hemingway quote, so it is still pretty nerdy. But
I think it's incorrect, right? Anything that builds you as young kids, competition and all of that shit, that's how we come up. That's how you get your strength and blah, blah, confidence and all those things. It can't be all bad.
yeah, I mean, it's got to be
human nature.
that they introduce women to mass situations through the fashion magazines, and they introduce men to false competitions through the sports. So
Yes, it is.
They're huge distractions, because if you want to learn practical skills, like sports that lead to practical skills, I think are very important, like hunting or boxing. Learning something.
I disagree.
It can also apply.
Sports are good for your health. That's good.
Yeah, but I think a lot of the health, it doesn't translate to functional strength. You know what I mean? So I think that a lot of times they're used as a distraction. They're used as hobbies, and they are classified under the thing I would call, artificial needs and surrogate activities. You know, they're things you do not for the act itself, but for something else. You know,
So you mean strictly in the public eye? You don't mean if me and my friend are playing football, or I'm bike riding?
No, that's probably good. That's probably a good bonding, you know, a healthy competition. But I mean, all the magazines. And
it is the Coliseum. Yeah, I would agree with that shit.
Yeah, because it's not even a competition among the best people. The best people who play the sport are probably like in jail or something. You know what I mean? So, you know, I mean, it's not even a competition. It's just who made it to the contest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you fail to understand, Machine Lies. You're stuck in that damn matrix, and you're stuck in the matrix believing that it's all real. What it is it's
reality.
Illuminati. It's the Illuminati's version of it's a genetic test.
No, I agree.
Wait, let me explain. If you lowered the net a foot, I could be a professional basketball player. If you're 7 foot tall, what did you do to become 7 foot tall? What did you do to have your good genetics? Nothing. And those people with an advantage, it is easy for them to do this, and they make millions of dollars. Sports are a celebration of physical genetics, and they are being preserved in society. And you fail to realize that you're always on the surface. You never dig deeper. And that's one criticism that I challenge you. Dig deeper.
Sound like Howard Cosell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
Katie challenges me to go deeper too sometimes. Most of the time.
No, the challenge is accepted, definitely, brother. You know, I'm always trying to dig deeper for sure.
Okay, but how deep are you going to get uncomfortable? Are you going to pussy out? Like, what about adrenochrome? What about human drinking blood?
Wait, what are you talking
about?
That's
what we need to talk
about. Blood.
What are you talking about, Nemesis?
Do you know what adrenochrome is?
Oh,
I'm sorry, I lost the plot. Now we're discussing vampirism.
Oh God!
Did you know that Al Gore was caught with blood in his suitcase?
Who cares?
And they made up a story about bullshit. He's really addicted to drinking blood.
I'm sure we know a lot of
Trump's the savior.
You missed the plot of MC Nemesis. You know, you got to go. You know exactly what you criticize me of. You stuck on the surface, dude. You know.
Yep.
You don't know, like, how is it the surf? Do you know what adrenochrome is?
We bring in the studio this morning one of the gay rights activists, Mr. Should I call you Mr. Pepe Julian Onzima. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for
Good morning.
Morning to you.
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
What the fuck?
Gay. Why are you gay?
That's a whole
right
interview.
up Flo's alley.
The interview is fantastic. I didn't realize that this was some sort of stupid music video.
I think we got the point. It's
Right.
in relation to you. Okay. Why are you gay?
Tarek.
Flo, you can't wear that hat.
Come on, Costa. You know I love women.
Get a clue. Woo!
You talking about the Pope hat?
Taught me something to read in the chat. He says, Rolex wearing, kiss stealing, jet flying, limousine riding, woo! In order to be the man, you gotta beat the man's mate.
Beat the man's meat, cause.
This guy's straight hilarious, yo.
You listen to some of your words.
I don't think so, Jack.
Jack, are you ready to talk about real issues like adrenochrome?
Yeah. Oh my God!
Not a real issue.
Is that too graphic? Just let me know.
It might be a kind of a thing on the terms of service.
I'm just saying, Jack, that I would like to discuss, but
okay, but here
it's sensitive.
I understand you want to discuss, but for what purpose? Do you believe the audience is not aware of some
I
of this?
want people to understand that there's a drug out there that can give you potentially superhuman abilities, and that the elite are using this to get money from everybody.
What is it?
How much is it?
I'm trying to connect it to the sports thing you said. I think it's because they're giving it to the athletes. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, the elite, the athletes, but most importantly, basketball was created to get the tallest individuals of our society. That way we can give them money.
Sound like Howard Cosell. Remember when Howard Cosell said they were bred that way?
Okay,
you don't believe that the globalists are geneticists?
Genetic engineering.
Genetics?
Nemesis.
Okay.
No, please. Yes, I do believe that there's been people of wealth and influence who have been looking at genetics, and they've looked at the designs of many things, and many people have seen many things. But what you're talking about is the evil. There's a
Yes.
lot of evil in this world, and I'm not in denial of that. I know there's other places that are talking about those things, but to be honest, I think we can we can discuss the evil things without really going into the details, and with respect for for the terms of service for where we're at.
Thank you, Jack.
All
So-
right. Well, I mean, without
Here-
being graphic or anything, I'll just say, like you said, that evil is perpetuated in the highest of places.
Yes.
And that because this
And-
evil is perpetuated, we should research in detail to learn about this evil.
Well, and research is great because we're empowered with wisdom and we learn things. But what do we do with what we learned? That is the true.
You might be careful with how much research you do on the internet too.
That, you know what, that as well.
Find
Here.
yourself and trying to
See,
explain
Jack.
yourself.
I'm gonna check. I'm not. Is this anonymous? Okay. All right. Welcome.
Jack, we need to take care of these boys. We need to get them out of the matrix. They need to get off the internet. They're talking about stuff they have no clue about. They're trying to spread conspiracy theories. They're trying to drag you down, Jack. We need to get rid of them.
What voice is this supposed to be?
The gay frog.
It's a voice of
It's
caution.
the gay frog.
It's a voice of caution. Thank you. Now, hey, here's the thing. If we talk about the evil on this world, we could. There's a lot of it, and there's a lot, especially if you go into history, lots of tragedies and sickness. So what is the reason? The reason is so we become more aware. So our minds are more conscious, and we consider different variables as we go through our day and make our choices. But the whole purpose of our growth and our path is to do, well, we're here to do whatever life will bring forth. And me personally, I see a way, sincerely, I see a way that not just me, but we, a group of us together, we can find a way that wars can end. We can be a voice of reason from outside of the field of conflicts.
They tried that in the 60s.
Well, so what? So
So
should we never
what?
try again, Chuck, because other people did something and didn't succeed?
The best way to end wars is to win them.
The best
Winner
way,
take all.
okay, potentially, but what is the terms of victory? I mean, if the goal is victory, you're right. The best way to end a war is to win. But if the goal is peace, the best way is to end fighting.
Well, do you want to make the sausage, or do you want to have some sausage? You know.
Well, the goal for me is, I know there's a way for conflicts to end because it's a choice we get to make. People have forgotten how to think for themselves. And in doing so, people have developed these patterns of just constant unrest and conflict. And it's spread. I mean, it's at the top levels of governance. Mankind has been manipulated for this purpose. And we are the solution. We are what our ancestors died and prayed for.
Look around this room. That's
I know, Flo.
somewhere the ancestors are like, fucking A, the fluoride and the
Yeah, I like the thing that Flo said, because it does unlock one of the key principles, because it unlocks this thing about the paradox of competition, which I'm sure I've mentioned on this show and in other places, but it's kind of the paradox of when there's no other competitors, then there's sort of an uneasy stasis in which whoever dominates gets to rule, but they might not be the best one. And there's also a kind of a problem in which competition is only good among equals. So you need something to fight for. Once all other competitors are eliminated, there is really no room for improvement. So that's the problem, is the stasis element of it. So in the one end, we want things to always improve, but if someone dominates, there's no way to do that. You know what I mean, right? So there is a
You can't be having men beat up on women.
Stop.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Hey, speaking of which, Jack, did any of you all hear that conversation yesterday from Brad Miller? He's an ex-Army sergeant who wrote this Declaration of Military Accountability.
Mm-mm.
Really pretty potent. It was on Twitter or X, and it was a huge group of ex-military or current military who are calling to the people, we the people, to help reclaim our government because the military is like severely infiltrated. It was pretty
Well, the only
hard.
problem
like a
is
January 6th sort of thing.
Government's too big is the problem, because the government has gotten so big because they want to try to help or fix everybody. If they shrink it back down to their original purpose, we wouldn't have such problems.
Chuck, I know you've said things like this before, but so what is your solution? What do you see? Because
well, you got to downsize the government for one thing.
All right, so how do we do that?
I agree with that too. I agree with that too, for sure.
Yeah. And maybe, go back, if I remember reading, it's been a while since I read some of the early writings, people got elected to serve these positions without pay, without getting things in return for serving. They were serving for the good of the people.
Allegedly.
And as time went along, and I'm going to say people, as people forced religion, not religion, but forced God out of things, the more chaotic, the more hectic the
Are the two
government
things that
became.
you are attaching the two things? You're saying that people would serve for free, then God got pushed out, then it became a job where you wanted money.
Well, yeah, it became a grift, in my opinion. Not about doing the job, but about what can I get out of it.
Well, whether it was intentional or not, the entire government structure exists today for profits. Okay, that's all any of the candidates are talking about is jobs and employment and all this nonsense.
Well, that's not profit for the government. That's the economy.
Okay, so they're focused on a version.
Hey, wait, I am lost. What
They're
the
focusing. Chuck he's got a pattern of being disagreeable.
Yeah, and Jack, you were. I think Jack was absolutely right.
We're gonna take you out.
I think Jack was
All
right. That
Moose,
promise of jobs.
the head.
That promise of jobs is how people and stay in office. That's how they do it. They team with some big corporation who says we have a lot of jobs. They pay them some money. That's how the government works, off of that job shit. I'm not sure why, Chuck, you would disagree with him saying that.
It's not the lobby. It's more of the lobby than it is a corporation.
Yes, the lobby tells them that I'm a big cigar, tobacco, pharma, whatever, oil, and I have a lot of jobs. Therefore,
Right.
you take this bread, I'll write this legislation for you, and you just put it on the floor. And the senator goes out there and says, hey, you know, this bill is going to give you 3,000 jobs. That's done.
That's exactly what's been happening. It's the illusion of money. It's what has everyone, from the individuals to the nations, it's what's got us all divided. This chasing profit, the sickness is selfishness.
Okay, so what
It
should people?
is. That is
Why should people
exactly
do
it.
things? Why should anybody do anything then? In Jack's Utopia, how do you incentivize? How do you get people to do stuff?
Tell you, God's grace is infinite.
Will
I have
you shut up until
Yeah,
Jack?
he was
Hold
talking
on,
with Jack.
hold on.
I have been blessed with property.
About
It's
to bless
not.
your ass again.
Listen, if you trust in God, you won't have to worry with finances. Jack will tell you that.
No,
Well,
Jack won't.
We build Talcott because God will
Hey,
give it
can
to us
Jack
in
answer the
the
question
heart.
that I asked
right.
Jack?
Through
Nemesis,
God, all
Nemesis.
things are possible.
That is the key. Okay, so what is God? God is love, and love reveals the truth. And I believe that through love and the truth, we can reform the society. And if the society is reformed so that we're not all separated by these divisions of class and color and different identities, if we start working together, cooperating with each other, dude, people will find the jobs. People will find the services they like, and they'll find ways
We've
to
been
help.
over this. Nobody wants to clean bathrooms, but it needs
Hey,
to
I
be
have a
done.
quick question.
Whoa,
I have a quick
whoa.
question. Do you believe that the Great Reset is a good thing, Jack? Like for everybody to get reset and be on a level playing field. Do you think that's
Nah,
good?
I don't like that question, Moose.
It was a
I wasn't
question
asking
to
you.
Jack.
For what is planned with the great economic reset, I don't like the forecast, but what I do envision is a restart where we collectively we accept where we're at. We say, okay, here's the world today, and the world that is better
We
is,
restart with an even playing field. We all get even when we restart some zero.
well, hold on. This kind of comes back to what I was trying to offer with Flow State's question. Okay, in the future, we can easily find ways so that every human born in this land will start with just America here. Okay, not to be selfish, but
Yeah. Okay.
we could easily find ways to provide shelter, food, clothing, and education, healthcare. These basic necessities could be offered free of charge, and we could find ways to compensate those who are providing them. And
Why the fuck would we want to do that though? Like,
well,
do you want to be treated like a
here,
child?
bro,
Do you want to have everybody
here,
be a
bro,
world full of children?
listen, shit. You just, if I love you.
No, you don't. Not right now.
You're gonna get thrown out of the Matrix, boy.
I know it.
Oh, here.
Yeah, I wanted to hear his question, Jack. In your head, you know what he's about to say. I do not. So I would
Well,
have. Go ahead.
let me offer this. Imagine if you had everything you needed to be comfortable, and so did all of your neighbors. And so you had all the time you wanted. There's others, you're not part of it yet, but there's others who are providing these basics. And so every day you can go through your life and live happily, but you've got all the time in the world.
You don't even have to work.
You would become lazy.
Who's
You don't even have to
providing
work.
all the
Hey,
stuff?
Chuck, maybe you'd
You guys
become
don't
lazy.
understand. You guys don't understand it fully.
Wait,
Let
I
me
like this world suddenly. I don't even have to work. I don't even have to work, Jack.
No, first,
Holy
look. You got to get people out of the cities. That nobody's supposed to live in the city.
No, I'm not going that far.
We got to get this dude his Adderall or
Right.
something.
This is ridiculous. You guys can't figure a world out that doesn't have fights and wars because it seems you're not willing to stop fighting.
Well, I don't
you
like
can't
being
either. That's
lumped.
why
Hold
when
on,
I
hold on.
ask
Excuse
about
me,
this,
Flo,
I'm
please.
trying to
Hold
I
explain.
on,
wasn't fighting.
Nemesis,
Help
I
me
just
please.
asked you.
help
I
me
don't
bring
like
it
being
up.
lumped in with you guys. I had a
Help me,
question.
Joe.
One, it hasn't even been answered. Whatever you feel from everybody else, I don't like being lumped in. I was
I
trying to
know.
figure out about
You're,
your
but
world
yet
in
you're a part of
particular.
it, Joe. Joe, whether you like it or not, you're a part of it.
All
Okay.
right,
So
okay,
God
okay.
bless. It's part of the topic too. We are all one.
This
Yeah,
is Telpatia. We are one.
all right. I go
Nemesis,
for
be
that.
quiet.
The
I
world,
agree. I
you're
agree with
just accusing us
Nemesis.
of not being able to envision a world with these things. I was questioning you. Apparently it's easier for you to envision that world. I see you were telling me about a world where you could sit up and you got all day. Of course I got questions. Yeah.
Well, sure. Yes, Joe.
I'd like to know, like Flo,
Okay.
who's providing the services. Do I have to do anything? Can you answer those two questions before we go on?
Well, Joe, in your hypothetical imagined scenario, I don't know
It's
what
yours,
you
not
want me to
mine.
okay. Well, here, I mean,
Joe,
you're
let him answer.
seeking,
Let him answer.
hold on. You're seeking details, and what I'm suggesting is humanity can grow the fuck up, and we figure out how to live and work together without all these rules and regulations holding us back, where everyone is mandated to live with this money system, where we
Praise be.
don't
You
let
ever
our
work?
neighbors
Money is
sleep in the damn
worthless.
cold.
We matter. People.
Yes,
Money's
the people
worthless. You
matter.
don't need it, Joe. What do you need it for?
Oh my God.
You
food.
know? Because we can grow our own food. We can raise our own livestock. We can build our own buildings. There's plenty enough space for everybody in America.
Nobody
But
wants to
it's
go
just that
back
we
to the
can't get
Stone Age.
people
No one is
to
suggesting going
stop
back to the
fighting.
Stone Age, Chuck. So, hey, I have received from you, Chuck. It's been a
I'm
long
not picking. I was talking to Nemesis. Jesus fucking Christ.
At least take it
I
out on
mean,
Papa
you were
Luigi
the
down there.
man. You were the man the other night talking about you were a prophet.
Hey,
How
Chuck.
delusional is that?
Hey, Chuck. Right. Here's the point that you interrupted me from making.
I didn't
It's
interrupt
been a
you. I was
long
talking to
You're
Nemesis.
imagining disagreements again, Chuck.
Yeah, Jack
Okay.
is a prophet. Let's get this right.
Hey, Lou, you
Sorry,
are on a
Moose.
very, very short leash. You should show some restraint, or
I'm
you will.
not.
That's enough.
That
I'll
was a
bring
very
more.
short leash.
That felt
Who
good.
was that?
I don't know.
That was
Hey,
I don't
Jack.
either. I
Another
don't know who that
another
was.
agent of chaos.
It was Lou.
Lou Bass. Papa
Oh
Lou.
Okay.
Lord,
All
I
right.
hadn't seen Lou in
Hey, so
quite a
let's
while.
bring
Well,
this
hey,
back to
Chuck, you should
Jack's.
go hang out with him, actually.
Oh
So,
Jack,
shit!
I'm actually genuinely curious. So, like, say, like, we got all of our debt wiped, right? Or, but the thing is there's still people without homes. So how do we get those people? Like, how do we get people on a level playing field so everybody has what they need? Is my question. I'm not being an ass. I'm curious.
there's many ways. I actually just watched a short documentary about what Finland has been doing as a nation. They put housing first.
Yeah.
And they have overcome, nearly eliminated their housing problem. Now,
Yeah.
the thought I wondered, and that this documentary did not address, is I don't know the immigration rules or status, what their
Yeah.
stance is on other people moving in, because
Yeah.
that would be the first argument against anything in America. You got
I
to
hope
shut the
not.
borders down.
I got enough of bandos in Chicago alone to take care of all the immigrants. That shit ain't even a fucking problem. We got more abandoned fucking projects and tall units. Fuck. I think giving the homeless cribs. We could do it both at the same time. I'm not
This
sure that's an issue.
that's just it. The greatest. It's such a deception. I don't know what the numbers truly are, okay, but I know that much of the homeless is a result of manipulation of housing prices.
Of
when there's
course. Who can
vacant
afford
property
that shit?
and people can't afford the place they
Most,
used to
like
live.
all of us here.
What's
Right.
that?
Joe said, "Who can afford that?" And I said, "Like all of us here." I'm pretty sure.
I think all of us here struggle at it. I know I've been homeless. I've had times with, times without. It's always sucked, man. I had times when I had to borrow $25 to make rent and shit like that, man.
I know, Joe, but listen, it don't matter. If you would put your resources where it truly belongs in the proper causes will take care of you.
That's right. I'll give you my Cash App backstage.
No, I'm serious. What good is paying the rent going to do you for the rest of your life when you could give it to Talcott and come to live in our paradise?
I'm down.
I'm
He's
serious.
got to be in character.
I get more room.
Job.
Here, let me try and paint a picture here, okay?
Yeah.
And let me address something else. Give me just a minute here. Chuck, I put you to the back because what I was trying to get out is it's been a long time. And if you want to disagree with me right now, well, I'll let you continue on with your night and your life. But it's been quite a while in my experience since I've heard anything positive from you. Everything has been negative and contradictory. It's like you show up here on the panel and in the chat just to make me look bad. So I don't appreciate what I've seen from you, Chuck.
Well, this New Year Jack is
perception.
mean, bro.
Well,
that's your perception.
It's my life I am living, Chuck, and there is plenty of evidence that supports my words. So rather than just be disagreeable, I encourage you, why don't you prove me wrong? Like in the future, show me some actual genuine, authentic respect, care. Okay? And Lou, you're in the back, and I'm done with you as well. Okay? You've not offered me anything but interruptions, insults, mockery, and disrespect for a long time. You and your daddy. Okay? So Lou, in my experience, you have a very close tie and relation to him. I don't want you.
He's setting boundaries for 2024, and I'm being reborn.
I don't know. Paul's never kicked
heard
me and
that.
said I was too close to Jack. I don't know if him being too close to Paul is a good argument.
It's Lou.
Lou
is a fun guy. He's funny, but he's been just.
I'm done with snaps this year.
I'm done with snaps too.
This is weird. Let's just pick a topic. Let's talk about something other than these cats.
So, Joe, if I may respond to your question. As we've talked about in the past, we do know, though, like our best physics does show that when we do keep this law of paradise, we will fulfill this divine law.
I would agree. Jack has an argument. That's why I wasn't arguing.
Bro, you keep saying that this is the law of paradise. I think you just made it up.
But it shit makes sense, right? If people elevate to that shit, these decisions will be easier for that elevated person. There's logic to what him and Jack said.
Well, I mean, there's also illogic to it, Joe. If
not made up.
Go out and treat everybody how you want them to be, not how they are, and they'll become that thing. That's not true.
I don't know.
It's simply to see and know good in people instead of the opposite. That's literally what the original law of God
Joe,
is.
go act like the cops are there to serve and protect you. Go treat them like that.
I'm not crazy.
You guys, you know this.
Guys, you are missing the point. I've seen communities to where they all get along and that they all they just are for the benefit of each other. Believe it or not, you can live for other people, not just yourself. Imagine if you woke up and you were in a community where you actually cared about people. That's the purpose.
I thought that was what life was. That's how I wake up every day. I thought that was a real thing.
The reason I call it a utopia is because this is what we're trying to manifest. Yes. We're never going to be perfect, but we can damn sure try and give it our all.
We can work towards it. And Joe, you might be right. Maybe you're already living in that life. I am too, where I wake up and I'm filled with God's grace and love, and I'm just grateful. I'm appreciative of me
He
and
said
everyone
community. He
around.
was specific, community, and all of those things.
But
And
Joe,
yeah,
it's not normal. It's not the norm of today, because most people, like, they've got this tunnel vision. They're stuck in
I
their
would
little
agree.
patterns of life, believing the government is real, that their vote's going to make a difference.
Yeah.
The world can be changed.
Well, if you don't vote, then we can't complain.
Well, what's
I'm just
that?
kidding.
See what I mean? Like Joe Cool. See, look, Joe, I want to know about Joe. I want to know, like, what I mean about knowing people is how
Like the
can I
biblical
help
sense?
Joe? How can I help Flo? How can I get to know each one of you on the
Yes,
panel to be my bros?
this is what I spend most of my time on. How can I communicate with Jack better? How can I get this point across the flow that I was trying to get where he'll understand it? How can I communicate with so and so without triggering them? That is a massive, and not just you cats, literally everybody in my life, from my girlfriend to every motherfucker I know. I am literally trying to make their day better, even to my expense and detriment, because what the fuck do I care? It's just a motherfucker doing this shit. Uh, that's all I do, is try to fucking help and do shit for other people all day, and not
Joe, you make my day
necessarily.
better every day that we see each other.
I think so. I hope so, and I could say the fucking
Joe,
same.
what can I do
And it
for
wasn't as sarcastic as I
I'm
think it probably
serious.
sounded.
Joe, what would help you today?
Hey, man,
Can
it
I,
felt a little awkward coming out, but
can I offer you some words of encouragement?
What?
Like, you think you're a cool person. I like Chevy too. Just
I
try
missed
to come at
something,
it with the
bro. I
power
missed
of
something.
positivity for once. Because you don't have to be negative. You don't. You do
I
Chevy's
would
not
fine.
agree.
have to be
Some of
negative.
the people in this same house don't have my attitude. They experience the same things I do, and to them, it's a negative situation, or at least they find more reason to bitch about shit.
Right.
It's you about you.
You
I
look
think I'm
at it and
echoing.
say, what are you grateful for, boy or girl? What are you grateful for? I don't want to hear about what you hate. What are you grateful for?
There you go.
That
This
is
is
the
a
key.
passionate man.
It's that. It's that. You know what? Yes. Interesting story. Interesting people. Fascinating.
Hey, okay. Do you cats? I don't want to be out on a limb here. I'm fucking machine lies. I want to ask you to answer first. Do you actively think of ways to better communicate with motherfuckers? People you know and see on a daily.
I think I try to be honest, and then that's about it. Whether people get it, yeah, whether people get it or not, I mean, that's really none of my business. Everybody's
But
at
if
their own
what
level
if
of
it's
understanding.
what if it's some chick that's got a low education and she's come from that house where she think it's
Oh yeah,
okay to
Hey,
yell
man,
all the
Lindsay's here.
time?
Stop talking about her.
Will
yeah.
you
I
make
try
a
to,
different approach for her?
yeah, I try to
I
dumb
figured.
every.
Are you
I
asking
try to
for a
dumb.
friend, Joe? Joe's
Yeah, I
asking
try to
for a
dumb
friend.
shit down.
Yeah, I'm asking for a friend.
Joe, Jack, these cupcakes are out of control.
I'm enjoying today. I love. I got a little worried when I saw Agent Smith show up.
Uh-oh.
I thought I was
Uh-oh.
getting deceived, but it's the
Uh-oh.
authentic things.
He wasn't interested in
Cats
talking
like
about it.
going out on limbs. That's beautiful, baby.
So would you say that there is no problem here? Because I'm likening it to like the Bad News Bears are teaching students that don't want to be there. You disagree or agree?
No, yeah. It's like herding cats, these panels trying to have a conversation.
What do you think it is?
Very good.
I just keep hearing you trying to get this message across and say what you want to say. It's your stream. You get to do what you want and say what you want. Other people have joined, so yes, they get to talk too. But why can't you be heard? Why don't people allow that? Why don't they allow you to finish a sentence or a paragraph?
I don't know.
A wholesome reason. I want to know all of them, Jack. A wholesome. I come up with like a half a dozen quickly. What do you?
Well, obviously, people learn what I tolerate, what I allow, and
Meaning they test you.
Potentially, I do think a lot of people test me intentionally. And I know, well, I suspect it. I've said this before. I suspect part of my role, just Jack's job of being, is people get to show off their egos to me. You know, the secure, arrogant ones and the insecure ones that are all afraid of me.
I dig it.
Bingo. Bingo. I like
Lindsay dig deeper. Oh, I'm sorry.
Bingo.
Go ahead.
Dig deeper. Hey, I'm trying to get Jack to dig deeper, but it sounds like it sounds to me like he's okay with it. Like it's just accepting that it's part of group dynamics.
Too deep, Lindsay.
No. No, Lindsay, I really do appreciate. I appreciate your mind, your approach. You kind of see things that I don't know if I'm the only one who doesn't see, but
I think we all see it. Just some people don't care.
See, okay.
Her approach is better than mine. I hate paraphrasing her because her approach is better than mine, right? But I know what she's thinking. I know where she's going.
Hey, can I interject real quick? I'm in agreement with her. I mean, this goes back to what we were saying, right? I see it and I care. That's why my silence says it all.
Wait. Make sure I heard that. I see it and I care. That's why I'm silent. My silence says it all. That's interesting. All right.
And so does the machine lies. He just lets people talk.
Yes.
But I've been learning from him.
So does Flow State.
Flow does. You do better than me. Not quite as you don't let it roll as loosely as machine lies or maybe London, but
Flow is pretty laid back though. He don't do a whole lot of spazzing, right?
We appreciate your observation, Lindz.
You know, and to the question though, why is it happening?
Yeah, it's very good.
It's human nature. It's today what I've come to accept. I thought it would be different. I thought things would be different, but things are how they are. So I've been learning how to accept and try to understand others better. And actually, people like you, Lindsay, and Joe, some of the questions that come out of you guys, it makes me see things sometimes a little different.
It's good. I don't want to think that I'm just beating up on you and it's falling on deaf ears and I'm wasting my time.
I'm trying to figure out if it's a problem to you. And if you have, it immediately reminded me of teaching stuff. For example, there's laissez-faire types of teachers and their classes are kind of wild, but the kids are hands-on and they're enthusiastic. Sometimes they're not hands-on and they don't give a shit and everything's wild and nothing comes together. And then other teachers are kind of dictators. You know, everything goes here. You say this, that's wrong. This is right. Da 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 da. So if this is a classroom and you're a laissez-faire teacher, then everything is okay. And this is just meant to be. Is that how you view it?
Well, it's in my heart. I hope to be a teacher, but it's not. I mean, here on YouTube, it's really not for me to determine. And so,
well, in this sense, you're the authority in the room. That should suffice.
In many aspects, yes. And I try to just actually have friendly conversations, honestly. And
what happened was when that kid in the backyard won't stop pulling that girl's hair, or when the one guy lit up a fucking cigarette in the back of the class. What do you do, authority figure?
Bringing your ass to the front so I can keep.
I like that for a start. You will be in the front. I like that.
Seriously, this is a little bit of projection. It reminded me of teaching business school. I taught at a really shitty business school. I took a job at the time. I needed a job. And it was shitty because it wasn't any kind of university or prestigious college. It was like a junior college business school. Some people had to be there, didn't want to be. They got sentenced. As part of their sentencing, they had to go take English classes or whatever it was. And a lot of people. a lot of people genuinely wanted to be there, and I really appreciated them. But those detractors, the people that there's one guy that was always trying to trip me and comment on my legs and stuff, and I would just ignore him. There's constantly people trying to distract all over the place, and it becomes disrespectful. So, I mean, if you have a message that you want to get across, and I was getting paid to get a message across, why are these always these people that are fighting everything that you say?
Karma, maybe.
Yet, better yet, Lindsay,
I think
you
he
tell
likes the
me.
chaos.
You tell us why it is, Lindsay.
I like order more than chaos, to be honest, but I know chaos is natural.
I think he likes it.
Another question for you, Jack. So, like, say everybody's on a level playing field. We swipe all the debts clean. We get everybody in their houses. How do we keep people motivated to keep being innovative?
I know that's Flo's big question that he was trying to dig out of me too.
My bad. I didn't hear.
You can't get it, Moose.
No,
the question is, how do you get people motivated or keep them motivated? Yes,
either one.
All right.
Both. Well, this is where my trust in the human nature, in the true spirit of what people are. I truly believe that if we were not so caught up on our own insecurities, we would be doing a lot more already.
Okay, Jack, if I can, this is why I asked you. I don't have to work. I keep motivated. I do shit on my fucking own. It is not. I do not look forward to sitting at the crib eating chips or watching TV. I don't think if I had to go somewhere, this is what I'd be doing. I got a million shits I'd rather be doing than fucking working.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, to kind of answer what Moose just said. I mean, how do you keep people? How do you keep people, still interested? I mean, you got to just do the job, and hopefully, the right people.
What do you guys see? What are you guys envisioning?
Okay,
and when
so
you when you don't have to work, let's assume you don't have to work.
Can I at least finish?
What do you guys see at people
Can I at
doing
least
every day?
finish?
Sorry,
Can I at least finish?
Yes,
Can I at least finish? All right, thank you. I mean, it's just like with our children, right? We make sure we do the right things because they're watching us. So to keep it up, you got to just keep it up, whatever you want to do. Just keep it up, but make sure you're acting in good faith because people are watching, your children are watching you. So going back to what Moose said about how would you keep people innovated still, tell them it's for the family, it's for the future.
They're role models, is what you're saying. Tell them they're role models.
My thinking though is I wanted to clarify for you where my question comes from because a lot of people don't believe in God until something really bad happens, and then they're praying. No, seriously.
I'm not sure they have to believe in God, most, as long as they you can teach them the philosophy of it benefits you. Excuse me. You can teach them that it benefits you if you're nice to other people as well.
Let me explain to you the reality and to everybody else.
Now, I hope you heard the rest of that.
Let me tell you the reality. You can live in peace, but guess what? If you step out of line, you're going to get the fucking sword. You're going to get your head chopped off. Do not come between peace because the only proper way to fund peace
This
is
dude was born
for
for
war.
wrestling.
Now, Jack ain't got a you got to deal with me. So you want to deal with Jack, you don't want to deal with someone like me.
Man, I would fuck with you all the fucking time.
I'd really like to try and get someone to understand what I see as possible for the future.
You then,
okay?
Will you listen? When we ask you on it, when we try to figure out what you see and ask you questions about it, you get angry at us. We're interested, but you don't like our questions.
I'm trying to do it now. Please stop interrupting. Okay.
You haven't asked a question yet.
Let him answer.
Yeah, I want to hear that.
Let him answer, Joey.
Good.
Okay,
Lord.
MC, we got you.
I was trying to come back to these questions that Moose and Flo were asking, right? I think that people will, I see a future where collectively we're working together. I trust that people want others to do better, and that we could, if it was all supported and organized, we could create community centers where people go in, share their time supporting and sharing their knowledge with others.
Isn't that
And
the internet?
partially
Okay.
we could incorporate technology and have some of the best instructors from around the world on different topics and make it all available for anyone who wants to learn. Now, I'm sure there would be some who may not, who would want to be a part of that success. And maybe even there'd be people who would be willing to volunteer their time to clean the toilets and stuff, you know,
I
to
would.
support something like that.
Yeah.
When they see the value.
I would. I've already thought about it
No,
before,
Chuck.
man. I'd be the first one. If I'm the boss, I'm cleaning the toilets. It's that important to set the example. I've thought about it.
There's no incentive for anybody except for to be nice. It's not going to happen. That's not how humans are.
You didn't get to your plan, Jack. You never got to your plan. You're not able to get there. We keep like.
Let him finish. People.
Yes, Flo.
I think he was telling us what he saw people doing, right?
When
Yeah.
you guys gonna shut the fuck up?
Why don't
And
you
shut
shut
your
up?
fucking mouth and let Talcott
I think
run.
he was saying the community centers is one thing that people would be doing. And
Shut up,
continue.
Shut up.
Hold on,
Okay.
please.
Okay.
And I'm going to come back to that. Brandon Looney Tunes.
Hello there. Hello.
You're not here to mess with anything, right?
No. The panel is pretty much full. And there's a button that says students to your audience. If it hit that,
welcome to Talcott. We are your brothers and sisters here. We welcome you to share your story, brother. Please, praise
No,
be.
we don't. Can you be quiet yourself?
I'm a new user here.
Pardon?
I'm a new user here.
All right. Well, hey, fabulous. Thank you for joining. Let's get back to the conversation. If you feel inclined to join, you're invited to do so.
We can assume you've been listening, right, bro?
There's a students to your audience button.
Brandon.
If it hit that stream.
Brandon.
Do you have an audience? Do you have a channel? First
Yes.
of all. Okay. And what does your channel consist of? What is your audience? Who is your
Mainly
audience?
old school cartoons. My stream showing up with special guests, mainly showing up old school cartoons. I did reach 2,500, by the way.
Salutes to that. Where are you from, may I ask?
Ohio.
Oh, it's one of you guys. Okay. Say no more. You got
One of those.
I know this guy.
If it hit that, your stream will be poured over to my channel.
You're welcome to restream. I appreciate it. Sure, introduce me to new audience.
Do you have a favorite Looney Tune character?
Bugs Bunny is the coldest cat on the planet. His
Foghorn
confidence.
Leghorn.
Oh my god.
Yep.
What? Country bastards.
This is why I get so frustrated because we get so close to the action part and then we never get there, and that's why I get so frustrated.
And my favorite's like I do have over 2,500 subs, by the way.
Very good.
Jack is trying to shoot his shot, but none of us will let him.
I'm streaming this to my channel.
Out of the fucking way.
So I'm streaming with 9 new users. I do have over 2,500 subs.
Man,
now.
let Jack shoot a shot.
All right.
That's right. Flo, you give him an illustration.
My sub count is 2,508 now.
Okay. All right. Hey, Brandon, congratulations. Thank you for joining. Here.
Did any of you subscribe to my channel?
Fuck no. Jack, what's your shot?
Well, yeah. Tell you what, Brandon, please respect where you are and let's get back to this conversation. Otherwise, I'll let you go continue promoting yourself elsewhere. The
Yeah, I am restreaming this to my channel, by the way.
Hey, Brandon.
Oh, come on. I want to hear Jack's answer now.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for
Thank
letting
you.
us know. You can go now. You don't have to
No,
be
no,
here.
no. Be nice. Be nice. Be nice. Brandon, thank you. We're going to continue the conversation. If you hear something you like, jump in on the conversation at hand if you can.
What's the conversation?
Well, you'll hear it now. Go ahead, Jack.
Yes. Hey, welcome to you
Hey,
as well,
guys.
Aaron. So,
Thank you very much.
regarding the future, so if the debts were eliminated and there was an agreement, we're going to rechange. One of the ideas first is the education center. People would have time to learn about whatever they want, and I know they've got the opportunities right now, but we could offer and encourage the support the opportunities for people to learn about whatever it is they want, and at the same time, these jobs in the communities evaluate the jobs they want the businesses to provide, and meaning they choose what the businesses are rather than a corporation coming in and buying up a town. We actually get the citizens involved, and if everyone actually has no debts and they have time to learn whatever they want, the support and encouragement,
Let me ask.
will be happy to serve.
Let me ask Flo. Hold on. Let me ask Flo, or I think let me ask Flo and whoever else asked the question. What do you see people doing all day?
Thank you, Joe.
I mean, it's amazing how like all of his goals, like the community choosing what businesses come in,
Please,
maximize.
This is
all
my
that
first
stuff
time.
by free market. But if everybody's given everything for free,
Wait. Please give me some examples before you critique what he said. What do you see people doing
under his scenario?
Yeah, well, they not working, I think, and they got a lot of free time.
Well, I mean, what do you see us doing right now? What do you see people doing when they? I mean, people don't fill their time productively.
Right.
Hold on. Can I have a question that's actually
not generous?
Yeah, I like
Flo?
specific examples, but
I mean, people are. We could all be
on the
learning
internet.
something. We could all be like
Jack, if I
Jack's.
can interject
Jack's
here.
got an agenda here. So Jack's actually working towards his goals here. I don't know that I think any of the rest of us are. Jack's goals, like I like Jack a lot, but his goals are not mine. This is not me achieving my goals.
Right.
Okay, but we're still not at the answer to what do people think we were doing before there was actual proper pay for jobs? Do you think that people weren't motivated because there was no job in the world? No, people get bored. They get productive because they're bored and because they want to do something more. And one of the things that's amazing is people who have incredible wealth who don't have to work are still incredibly productive. It disproves the thought that when you have everything, wait, hold on. It disproves the thought time and time again. There's about 7 million people on this planet who have billions of dollars, and they're all very productive. And
Okay, you're
none of
making
them are
claims,
sitting
but
at
most
home.
of them are bullshit.
No, but
It sounds like they'd be productive merely by running corporations and shit, making the meetings sound like they're
Are there swear words in this channel?
Say what again?
Are there swear words?
It depends who it is. The black people are allowed to swear. The white people are not.
No.
What? Those are the rules. I didn't come up with them.
You're concerned about your audience and restreaming. You might want to end it because yes, there are typically profanities in this stream.
Just a few.
Hopefully not severe, but
yeah, you really need to be ended, Brandon. Jack really needs to end you.
Yeah, I would just challenge the idea that humans get
Arpo?
lazy because they have what they need. In fact, when humans have what they need, they develop more. And we can go back to the studies of primates and the alpha versus beta sharing. Because when primates are given enough for everybody, the alphas distribute equally. When they are given more than enough,
we don't need to do that though. What happened during lockdowns when everybody got paid to stay home? What happened to fast food jobs? What happened to?
Hold on,
they didn't want to go back to work.
Today is a diseased mindset where selfishness has been conditioned and rewarded. So people don't know how to live when they've got
energy
time.
Conservation.
Quiet. Let Jack finish.
Sorry, Flo. Would you really consider a lockdown?
Wait. Quiet. Let Jack finish.
Nemesis.
Actually, at this point,
I'm sorry, Nemesis.
go ahead, but please.
No, you really want it? I want to check to finish, but it's descending into uncontrollable chaos, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
No, it's not horrible at all. It was not. Actually, it was not.
I really wanted to hear what Jack had to say, but then Aaron chimed in. Like, we got to understand that this is Talcott, guys.
Jack, let's hear what you have to say, Jack. Don't make us work so hard to hear your thoughts
Football
on your
is an okay user.
I lost the thought. I don't remember what we were talking about.
No, I would just challenge the idea that without a paid job and with equity, proper equity, or that somehow we lose our interest in making new things. And in fact, people become more creative, capable to find themselves, more options, and look for that because they don't want to sit at home alone. And the lockdown, that's a different thing. We're stuck in our homes without access to stuff and separated from one another. When society is able to move freely, we see this throughout history, and you can just look at the native tribes. They didn't have money. They had trade and barter.
We can see that the employment didn't pick back up until the government payments ran out.
Yep.
Yeah, but the employment is kind of a false logic in this argument because we're not talking about employment. We're talking about equity and ubiquitous equity. And that's a different thing because it precludes any idea that there's a system of money. I'm sorry.
Look, all this is pointless. This has nothing to do with Talcott. I'm just saying.
It absolutely
No,
does.
you're
Why do you
right
keep
on.
This has
interrupting?
nothing to do with Talcott.
Because I haven't been able to
that's
say
Nemesis.
much.
You interrupted.
Look, we come here to learn about Talcott, not to learn about other ideologies.
All right, you guys are on something good there.
Can we vote somebody off the island?
No, we're not going to do that. We can
Aaron.
be more attentive though to
What's the equity for
Send Jack $500.
What's the equity, Aaron, for somebody that
Why
works
did
at
you
a
just
steel mill?
interrupt me, Chuck?
I didn't.
Chuck, once again,
You
false
did
equation. We're not
interrupt
talking
me,
about a
Chuck.
work environment.
You're speaking right over me. I'm talking
Nemesis was louder to you. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
You might actually have to turn up your mic a little bit there, Jack, if it's on regular.
Thank you.
Yours is a little softer than everyone else's, and Nemesis is a little higher than everyone else's.
That's what everyone says.
All right. Thank you.
It's true.
Yeah, Joe, you did say it earlier.
I couldn't hear you, Jack, over Nemesis. I'm sorry.
All right. I appreciate that. Thank you. Please continue.
So, Chuck, my address to that is that you're actually also adding in the workload where there will be none in this concept. This is a hypothetical of like, what do we do when there is no jobs? The challenge that Flo is stating is that everybody would give up and not work. And I understand that this is a concern, but it's not related to when people have a job currently. So it is not really an interpolative device that you can use to say, well, if somebody's this, how come it applies? No, we're talking about when nobody has jobs, why would they have the motivation? And that's the
people actually in that perfect utopia where nobody has to work at all, people would fuck things up because psychologically humans need to do something to work on.
Wait, let Jack.
There's an argument
I
there,
think
Flo,
he
by
has
the
some
way. That's
good
a critical
perception on
argument.
this. Really, let Jack answer.
Thank you. I'd like to offer a perspective that's not really being considered. Part of this transformation I'm talking about is sharing the truth of God, right? And so as people realize who they are and what this experience actually is, there will be a common mindset of, hey, what can I do today to help make this community a little better for everyone else?
So in this instance, you guys would have had to assume that a certain transformation had occurred, a certain period of time had occurred to make this Jacktopia or whatever we call it. So there would have been a different mindset. And Jack is saying you're not really taking that separate mindset into consideration in your arguments.
It's challenging to comprehend or imagine, and I understand. Logic suggests that it's not what I'm saying is not possible.
We could do it right now. There's no reason this couldn't start right now. So what have you done?
Yeah,
what
we're starting right now, right here. Now you're getting it, Flow State. Now you're getting it. We're in the moment. We're starting now.
Now, Jack, if we start now, we have the mindset and we have the power. As of today, motherfuckers don't have to work. Whatever these things you propose are about, what will people do today with the mindset, or just take off anywhere from there?
Well, what I envision is a realistic possibility is we use the current systems of administration and communication, and we together come up with some ideas of how to balance and, bring the new order from what already is. But I tell you what, when word goes out to the world, hey, brothers and sisters, there's been some changes. Your debts have been forgiven, and we are working towards bringing peace and prosperity for everyone. So everyone
Right.
can stay to celebrate, be grateful, and to forgive those who have harmed. And we can work together to help each other forgive, help each other heal, help the world rebuild. And I know many people. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask Aaron then Flo, considering the mindset, what happens day one when Jack's world is, I think, Aaron, you're more optimistic. What happens day one?
I'm optimistic, but I have a realistic sense of the tumult that actually Flo is pointing out, which is that is a very realistic, classical, and critical argument that when you do give people the free reign of, let's say, absolute freedom, they're going to take part initially in an arc of, there's a bell curve to people's experiences. So I do think that there is a danger to it too. And that's part of the conversation is there has to be a scaled way to approach all of this, which would have to
Let me ask Flo right quick before you go on.
yeah,
Flo,
no, I'm good. I said it.
No, I like where you were going, and no way you're going to remember it, but that was good. The curve, and we'd have to go into it slowly, and you're absolutely right, I think. Flo, what happens today? The laws kick into order. What happens today? I saved you for last. I think you got
The global economy starts working with all the efficiency of this panel figuring out a solution.
Doesn't it already? Sorry.
I understand. Here's the good thing.
Well done.
I think this is going to happen. Okay. And I don't know all the details, but this is what I feel is it's the only thing that makes sense for humanity. For humanity to continue in the future, particularly with the developments of AI, the current war drums, and all this other crap that's been happening. The future of humanity requires us to change. And I think the best way to change is for the
If we're
world.
going to survive, we probably do need to be changed. Yeah.
And Jack, I'd really like to ask you to share, by the way, kind of some of what you shared with me about the on the ground, piece by piece, legitimate, like governmental and local society impact work, at the local level of what you kind of have talked to me about of approaching. Because I think that is a very realistic, it adds realism to what is otherwise a pie in the sky for most people. So I'd like to hear more about that stuff.
Well, thanks, Aaron. It's the pie in the sky for my hometown that I've been trying to find a way to accomplish. And I think any community could do this. For those who know the organizations and the problems, maybe not a real big city, but even in the smaller communities in the cities, this could happen. I got a good feeling from the nonprofit organizations and the people who are boots on the ground working with the homeless and the addicts and all of this stuff. And I understand the mindset. My goal and my idea has been to try and reason with citizens in my city government. And I guess we just had an election. So hopefully some of my clouded problems from the past maybe I can overcome some of the past confusion. But the idea is, I think my goal is Spokane could easily become an example for the rest of the state, for the rest of the nation, in some changes that are just right there. It's ready to happen. We got the people doing the work. We got the people in need. We've got the solutions. What we don't have is the commitment and the will and the intention from the community. And I think with the right spokesman, so to say, bring the right ideas to the right people, I think we can cut through some of the red tape that people have created.
All right, let me get in, and this is where I get kicked. I think be nice to me.
Hey, my
Be
phone's
nice,
down. I
though.
gotta
This
go,
takes
but I
courage.
appreciate all of you.
And
I appreciate all you salutations. Love it, love it, love it.
Bless you,
Be
Great
easy.
growth, brother.
All I heard was you saying what you see in the future is you being the leader. People need to come together and do all these things, and they need someone to lead them. That's all I heard was, in the future, I'm the leader. That's all I
the
heard.
fine print. Don't look at that.
Okay, but Joe, let's look at this a couple of ways. Let's say you're right. Saying that's what I'm suggesting is that in this particular case, from my community, that they allow me to lead. I believe that.
Okay, let's say that. All right.
Come forward. So it's possible that I'm saying that, but
all right, let's go down that hole. I'll go down that lane. If go ahead, I'm listening.
I mean, that's where that definition would come, where they say spoken like a true leader, right? You want someone who knows what they're doing, or at least it's half of knowing what they're doing to take lead. You got it, Jack.
Thank you. And actually, partially true. The way I want to lead, I want to support some of these fucking heroes in my community, man. There are people who are seriously saving lives out there every day, dealing with people in the cold and helping them find resources and stuff. I want to support them and help, because I understand authority. I also understand government. I understand civic duties.
So, Jack, let me ask you this, and I've never asked you this. Do you really want to be a leader, or do you want to be a facilitator?
I think, you know what? Is there a separation? Because a good leader just simply facilitates operation.
I would argue that leaders are made by the people around them, and facilitators are often part of the team.
Yeah,
a leader can be a facilitator. A leader can be a facilitator, but I think that folks that are just good at getting everybody together sometimes everybody wants to think of them as the leader, but they tend to be just really good team players. And that's the other thing is I think everybody's just trying to. A lot of folks want that alpha placement or whatever, or feel like somebody should be pushed there instead of us working together as a team. And I think that's part of it.
Well, that's kind of the thing, isn't it, though? The best leader is a facilitator, and it's one who actually facilitates leaders. That's the ultimate one.
Period.
Because it's a person who actually helps, mend communications between leaders, and even
he would know where this leader is better off over here. This guy would work good over there, and he would be putting the leadership in the play. Yes,
that's why the real leader is never the guy out front. It's always the guy in the back.
I was going to say that guy, Machine Lines, would be humble. He would have no desire for that. Otherwise, he'd have achieved it. He would be humble and have no desire. He would be a facilitator at heart.
Well, I think nailed it. You just nailed it, by the way. And can I just say that for people who have done a lot in their lives, at some point, all of those things that you worked towards become kind of like, oh, I know how to do this. I want to share this with others because I've experienced this wonderfully. And these things aren't important. Like, they don't make you important. What makes it important is that you've got experience that's wonderful that you want to share. And most of the time, when you get in a good position, you want to see other people do well. So I totally support.
If you're healthy, you want to see other people do well. I agree.
Well,
I think the machine. Sorry,
no, go ahead.
No, I thought the Machine Lines had more to say on that, but I thought he got cut off a bit. But
yeah, he did. I'm sorry. I was just too excited about what was being said.
No, that's good.
That's a good thing, right?
That's a good thing. Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah, it's a good thing. Yeah.
I just want to steal other people's shit, though. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, we can make a whole world for that, especially if everything's free. Just let you wander into a fake store and steal all you want. Then it's no fun, I know. But
see, this is what I don't get. There's nothing free about this current design of the free market.
Yeah,
I think we agree
nothing
with
free
you.
at all.
Well, right, and this is what's insane. Life shouldn't cost money.
Free market means free trade, not free stuff.
No, it means free to charge whatever you want. That's what
only what the other person's willing to pay.
Right. And you can.
But if there's manufactured scarcity, what another person is willing to pay will become exorbitant.
I can't even fuck with you socialists tonight.
I'm not a socialist. I'm actually when it comes to finances, I've always voted Republican, just so everybody knows. Personally, liberal voting, but Republican
You're in
voting when it comes to
California.
taxes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Your scale is
it.
different than the rest of ours.
Yeah.
If you're
Look,
moderate there, you're far left everywhere else.
Yeah, totally. No, true. True.
Except for in Washington, like you and Jack are both probably relatively conservative for communists.
Hey Jack, I think they're not giving your idea of the man who's doing these things. He is a better man, and things would flow more. I don't think people are taking that into consideration. And every time you make a statement, I acknowledge and know that yours is coming from a guy who has a better heart. So your shit is certainly seems more believable and possible to me.
But we know because we're having this conversation right now, and nobody has started doing it, that it is not human nature. If it was, we would all be reporting back what we did today.
What are you talking? Wait, what?
Yeah.
There's tons of work in the world.
In the future, when there's better people that just there's no money, everybody just volunteers because they love to volunteer. We could start volunteering for shit right now.
Mm-hmm.
Has anybody here volunteered today? This week?
Well, this is the tough thing of the trade, though, Flo, is you're saying that we could just run right into the fray of this when some people do that when they're capable of it. I have a great friend who was just on with him the other night.
I understand. That's not the point. But, of course they do. Some people do that, but not most of them.
Well, that's because most people are stuck in the system of manufactured scarcity, where we have to work, we have to make ends meet, we have to do this, and we don't get the time.
Okay, so
and Flo, that takes away from the heart. That person who has to do that, who makes that a priority, his heart is lesser than the other kid.
That is how God made the world. There's not a single life form that doesn't have to work to survive.
Oh my God!
You don't have to yell at him.
Every last one of you.
Real quick. I live around a lot of people who are either retired or have enough money to live in another country, and they're living good, right? Out of all these people, there are a handful of us who volunteer our time, energy, and resources, and there are still those other people that turn away. They turn away.
Yep.
They don't have any interest on doing anything. They stay to themselves. You hardly ever see them outside. That's why I ask about the motivation thing, because a lot of people, they're just not going to do things for other people. You know, they just don't give a shit.
Well, this is true, but I would say that what happens is that society starts to make things normal, and those that are the outliers in that fashion will become them. We will never be out of that. This is what I was talking about the other day with Jack, is like, we should always expect that there are going to be outliers. We can't get a monolithic humanity. But if we can build the rules to allow for all of that to make it better for the greater whole, then I think that that's something that we can actually achieve with the consideration that the people who are the outliers and the not willing to take part are still there.
I missed some of that. One of my buddies had texted me and I was looking for him in the chat.
It just didn't make sense. I caught all of it. It just didn't form a coherent thought.
How the fuck were there other people on the panel that understood what I was saying, or do I need to read it?
I didn't, but I was preoccupied.
I didn't get it.
Okay.
But
I think that in this situation, we are always going to have to take into consideration that some are going to take part and others will not.
Agreed.
That's just how it always is.
Of course. Yeah.
It is kind of ridiculous because we do that now with our current laws and systems. How would that not apply when we apply a positive situation?
I'm not so sure we do that now with our current laws and systems. They don't account for the guy who wants to opt out. You must do with their shit, right? You must comply and do their system. There's not a whole lot of room for motherfucker who wants to do their own thing, as is the whole proposition of what we're talking about.
Now, I can buy with that. I think that we have a more finessed or minutia based where it's harder to see. There are some wiggle rooms, but it's more retained in like a box, you know,
yes,
or held in by a cage, you know.
Yes.
Well,
it's hidden from us intentionally. Go ahead.
I think it's important to distinguish between jobs and skills. You know, you could create a job out of thin air. You could get somebody to do something and then pay them for it, but it doesn't mean that they're doing something useful. You know, there's more people with jobs than ever before, but there's less people with skills than ever before. You know, so that's the problem.
And that's a problem with people's worth, by the way, too. As you're mentioning that, skill and quality of work or enjoyment of your work.
Right.
And Jack actually can speak to this. I know for a fact. I'd love to hear more about Jack's experience with this
I
too.
want to hear the rest of the Machine Lies thought. Like,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
following along.
I've always got more as a problem. but yeah, bless you, brother Aaron. But yeah, I think just in terms of jobs and skills, I think the main producer of jobs is technology. That's the problem, is that technology is taking away people's skills, and I don't think a lot of people would agree with me on that. But I do think that that's part of the problem, is that we're flooded with jobs and we have less skills.
Yes, yes. And our skills,
want to
if
improve
we
the
didn't,
technology. Yeah.
yes,
I just watched
a
a
lot of people
documentary
wouldn't
on it.
necessarily run out and do jobs as Machine Lies describes them, but their
Yeah.
skills must flourish, because anything they do, they'd be doing themselves, hands-on. I think skills would come back if we didn't have to punch in at Aldi's every fucking day.
Hey, can I add to that real quick? I mean, I hear what Machine Lies are saying, right? But then at the same time, it's almost like, what about saying the person who actually thought of the technology? That's some type of skill. Like that is somebody's job to think of innovation, you know, to move us closer, further to where we need to go. So it's almost like saying we don't need no more inventions over here. If you understand,
he's talking about the jobs.
The
He's
less
talking about the
financial.
jobs. Hold on, one sec, Flo.
Okay,
He's
this
talking
will be
about
good.
jobs that are paying. Sorry, one sec. That pay like $100,000 a year, right? This dude's sitting in an office. He's pushing papers around, right? He's not doing much of anything for 8 hours of the day, but he does a few little things here and there. And there's so many jobs like that in Silicon Valley that are
Probably
paying.
you just don't understand them.
No,
Dude, I just watched a documentary on it. I'll send you the link.
Yeah, there's actually a big skill set issue right now with people feeling fulfillment out of their work, and that associated to the lack of skills necessary for some of them.
Logical. Yeah.
That is exactly here. The current.
So wait, what's the issue? What's the issue?
People don't feel satisfied at the job.
Who gives a fuck? That's their problem to solve. It's not our problem to solve it for them.
Shit. Hey,
fuck their feelings.
The
fuck
problem
their
is jobs that don't do anything
and get a different job that they're satisfied with. What an absurd concern. I could not give less of a fuck about their feelings.
Hold on, Flo. Jack, talk about your experience. Jack, talk about your experience as somebody who's held a job for 30 years.
I'm trying
job.
Hold on.
Go ahead, Jack.
This separation of jobs and skills, I actually appreciate that observation. Now, technology, I would suggest technology has changed our skills, but the argument could be made too that we've lost a lot of skills, particularly here in America, because many of the jobs have been industrialized, outsourced, and all of this. But imagine this future where we celebrated uniqueness and the creativity, the talent of craftsmen, because people weren't saddled by debt. They weren't creating things just for profits, but they had time. You know, the people were
This is their motivation, Flo. This is their motivation. People,
No, this is just bullshit.
wait. Jack is onto something, right? These people who don't have conventional jobs, they still want to be seen as in a positive light in their community as something. What would their something be judged right now if it's not the job you have in the car? What would it be? It probably something more valuable, a skill you have, a communication that you have, a heart that you have. Things would probably go that direction.
Absolutely. And if our focus is turned away from profits and productivity, if we turn to actual value and experience, value and, just simple value.
Those are things we value, Jack. That's
why
that
is not true. We all know about this planned obsolescence and the way that
our value system is on. We value material things and money and prestige. We value all the shit that you think that we won't value in the future. We know that because that's where we put our attention and our money every fucking day.
Right.
Okay, but Flo, can I ask you this though? Because wait, hold on. I hear the contrarianism, but I want to hear.
No, I'm not. I just don't live in La La Land. Y'all are fucking
but even saying that's contrarian to the status, because here I want to hear your solution base for all of this. What is your solution?
He's happy
what
with
is the problem that I'm trying to solve? What's the problem I'm trying to solve here?
Well, this is the issue. Is maybe you're not engaging with the conversation in this
He's
way.
hanging out. He's
No. I'm happy to just solve
He's
the problem.
not as dissatisfied with this way shit is as you are.
I'm not, because I take control over my life. I take responsibility for it. I earn my shit, and I'm satisfied with it. You motherfuckers want other people to give you shit because you're babies.
No, not at all. Not at all. Some of us have seen that there can be a better option, even though we worked our whole life watching everybody work, and as somebody who's been, on a 16-hour day where you load your own shit back into the truck, I can tell you this: everybody works hard, and there's no reason that people have to work like that to kill themselves to have no experience.
Well, do we need shit put on the truck?
Well, it depends. You know what? It depends on the stuff we're putting on the truck, and why are we putting it on the truck, and who's it for? All of this.
Do you think that we put rocks on trucks and then take them back off just to give people something to do?
Yes,
they do.
Whoa, have you seen the state of the American dumps? How much stuff manufactured, shipped across?
Why are these people putting rocks on the trucks then?
Oh my God.
No.
That is very reductive. That is very reductive to the concept.
No, we can walk through this chain because if people are doing, let's just use this hypothetical. We've got a bunch of people putting rocks on trucks. It's really hard work. It's for no reason. Why are they doing it?
Well, if there's no reason, they shouldn't be doing it.
Because they want the money. It's worth it to them.
Okay, so this exactly, Mr. Capitalist, doesn't matter what's being done as long as it's for money. Right?
No, they're achieving something. Their goal is to get money. Their goal isn't to see that the rocks are up to a happy life and wherever the fuck they go.
Right. And
hey, Flo, is their goal to get money or what money buys, whatever that is, or what money brings?
Well,
security?
Sure. It's the same thing. Money's just a medium of exchange.
Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. All the mechanics work the same economically.
Right.
Hey, guys, I'm out of the loop here. What is this rock analogy we're using?
Crack rocks.
It can't. I think we had just left it.
Crack rocks is what this whole panel is smoking.
No. Hey, Flo, go watch a video called "Rise of the Bullshit Jobs," and then tell me.
I know what you're talking about. I've seen it. There is some validity to that. There's too much bureaucracy and bullshit jobs. That's for sure.
Right.
But the solution isn't just to do whatever the fuck Jack is proposing.
I'm not saying that.
You know what? Some things are coming to light. Some things are coming to light today that I've got to realistically consider. Okay, so Flo, you pointed out many people on these panels, they don't have a purpose. It's just, it's something to do and a way to socialize. I actually do have this purpose and belief in my heart that there's a path, there's a way for this
Jack,
world.
You're going to need to overcome this mental hurdle.
Well, how about this? From my perspective, Flo, if you can't be understanding, if you want to just be adversarial,
I don't give a fuck. Kick me out. If this is the threat coming, kick me the fuck out. Flo, I'm not going to suck your dick and tell you that you're stupid.
All right, and have a good night. Okay? It's not helpful, Flo.
Jack, this is kind of a thing I've been talking about, that we're always to expect that there will be some of us that will rebel against anything, or rebel against what's good for others, or what they don't see as legitimate, even though it may be. You can show people till you're blue in the face fact.
I know.
Even if it's just imaginative. I'm sorry, Jack, but I have to add here that this is, again, we don't change people. They see the change because it envelops them.
People receive what they want. And this is what I don't understand, is why people have been so resistant to even consider the possibilities. I mean, even to allow a conversation about what it could be instead of just constant. And you know what? I respect and admire Flo. I've learned a lot.
Wait, did Flo get kicked?
I put him in the back and he chose to leave.
Okay. All right. I missed all that. Go ahead.
So,
I mean, I have to say that Flo must be very, he must be really assured in himself of his belief. He was standing on his laurels and what he believed. And I support anybody who does that, by the way. People get confused about that. But I
would take it one further. I would take it more further. the biggest asset on this panel is the guy who disagrees and have the strength to say so, and the good arguments to back the biggest asset on the panel.
Joe,
We are all
100.
assets, but all right.
There's
Yeah,
a
no,
time
100.
and a place. There's a time and a
I agree
place.
with all that. All that taken into
Disagree
consideration.
with
Yeah.
I mean, and honestly, this is where I was. Chuck was a stronger example. I mean, Flo's been a lot of encouragement and support. The thing is, though, what I realized is Flo's right. You know, he was being asked, "What's your solution?" Well, Flo has found safety and he's found his path of comfort. He's not interested in the same things I am. Well, if you're not interested in what I'm offering, if you can't see that, I don't know, there's possibilities, right? And I don't understand the lack of willingness to even explore possibilities.
I think that's exactly what the opposition does, man. At least it allows me to explore the possibilities to strengthen them. I don't know. I don't
No, that's valid. It's very valid because the whole thing is the dialectic. It's antithesis to thesis and creating synthesis by a third point of view. Because
so it's a necessity down there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed what you said. What'd you say, Joe?
No, I was just saying I'm agreeing with you. Yes, it becomes a necessity to have the opposition there, according to what we're both saying.
Yeah, because if you can't actually walk up to the mountainside and start climbing, you aren't going to go uphill anyways, and you're not going to build that muscle.
Yes, that cat's building that muscle. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I
Not
think it's
just flow
important to
per
challenge
se.
ourselves, challenge our biases, challenge the echo chamber. Obviously, I'm sure that Jack's panel seems like a big old echo chamber of just happy love to the folks of the stoic.
I mean, there's a different type of challenging. I mean, there's a challenge that we all are willing to accept, and then the challenge of getting yourself kicked off the panel. You know,
That's it. Different.
You know, this.
Jack, you look kind of challenged right now.
I provide challenge to the community. That's funny.
Well, these questions and the attacks. I mean, I've been dealing with people who don't want to discuss their disagreements with me, and they want to run around Miss Margot Davy. I mean, Miss Margot Davy is the one who, by her claims, you know, interrupted my efforts to try and be a leader in the community, try to help reason with some elected officials. So even today, I'm being asked, and you know, and then even I don't know if, you know, I don't know if Flo's talking about me or not. But what do I offer? I offer me authentically, humbly. Each day I create the space to share fellowship with me and any others who want to join. And my purpose is to try and share some encouragement and inspiration in this world, despite my real life situation. So
Salute to that.
I'm just bewildered, to be honest. The state of humanity, sincerely.
Well, Jack, I mean, like, this is don't be so much bewildered
I forgot
or
which
hurt
one
by
I
it.
got. No.
I would honestly urge you to not be that, because the status quo is a drug that is potent.
Hold on a minute. See, this is the narrative of people who don't talk to me. He's waiting on a Faye. I don't know that we've ever had conversations for you. So for you to be so confident about, he's waiting for someone to save him is the problem. From what he displays online, it's the same loop. Is it the same loop?
I thought we were
waiting
getting
for
somewhere.
someone to save me when I'm here offering, let's see, the topic today, continuing explorations of duality and life, conversations about this reality, this experience that we're sharing. I'm not asking for people to save me. And for
Well, Joe, I mean, I was trying to get, Machine Lies and I were trying to make a point about how there's all these useless jobs and how jobs aren't going to save the world. And then all of a sudden we get railroaded, can't even finish the whole point that we were trying to make. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you agree with Jack's point. Well, Jack hasn't made the point yet. So how am I even supposed to agree with something that hasn't even come out of his mouth yet? Like,
I would interpret that as he obviously is very emotional about this. Jack, you already pointed to it. This is how he does his life. Of course, he's attached to it. He's going to defend it ferociously. I would assume that going into the conversation when he gets heated, I wouldn't be neither here nor there with me. I try to hear what the fuck he's saying and all of that nonsense, man. That's to be expected. Right? Don't let a motherfucker disrespect you. I'm down with all of that shit, but I just see, okay, he's excited because of this, and keep it moving. There's no reason to interrupt nothing.
Well, ideally, I'd like others to understand what it is that I'm suggesting, because what I'm suggesting, it's not unrealistic. I think it's very easily supported by logic and reasoning that we find a way to rewrite the rules of society so that secrets are no longer legal. Because we live in a world controlled by Satan and darkness and fear and confusion. Why do we choose to continue that?
Would you want to be more specific? I'm sorry, Jack. I apologize.
No,
I would just actually ask you about the specific. Like, wouldn't you want to be more specific about the type of secret you're talking about? Because that could really
government secrets Jack's talking about.
I'm talking about government and corporate secrets. People don't realize it.
And corporate, okay.
But we've got all of these contractors and employees, and I served with some of these people. I mean, I served in a counterintelligence unit, so I know some of these people and some of the oaths, right? So all of these men and women are lying. They've been convinced to lie.
He preaches to the choir.
Well, this is why we live in a world of confusion and lies. The history is clear. The governments and the wealthy, those control the shareholders will say, corporations and governments melded a long time ago. There's patterns of the wealthy throughout history buying up the newspapers and the media, making sure the right stories are told.
All those things are true.
Well, I think what is true, I have been in the stuff I'm sharing, guys. It might be new to some people. I don't
think it is. It's not so. No. We've always heard, all heard people who want peace and love. These things are not new. We want to end war. I don't think those concepts are new to us, that people want to end wars and blah, blah. No, it's not people's first time hearing those concepts. That's what you're talking about. Peace and blah, blah. And don't.
Actually, to be honest, Joe, in most of my life, I either didn't hear them or I didn't pay attention to those voices. Right.
Interesting.
So in the past several years, though, mind. I've been allowed time off from work, right? This scenario where I'm not in the situation where all my debts were forgiven.
I get it. And now you got to think, I'm sorry, keep interrupting you, but I think we're on the same page here. And I feel like I might even been a little hard on you because this is a new revelation, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Well, over the past several years, I didn't have the job to tie up my time. And I became amazed at what I was able to learn. And learning from others, that's why we're here. We don't have time to learn everything on our own. So we can learn from others. And there are some amazing people, amazing groups. There's people coming together, creating these assemblies in different organizations. I know about so many different stuff that's going on, but nobody seems to care about what I know. It's like...
Hey, call to authority, Jack, is hard for some people because the egoic phases are problematic. Like what we talked about.
Attract.
Sorry. That too.
Sorry about that, Aaron.
No, we were talking at the same
I
time.
just
It's okay.
got passionate about it because it's like he's talking about duality today, and I finally get it. Opposites attract, right? He wants to be unconditional love. He wants to be the man of love, and you are going to attract the opposite of that, right? And that's the duality.
Holy shit. You just, you might have revealed something, Moose. Opposites attract. And we manifest that which we're afraid of. Those who are afraid of fear.
That's exactly right. Because see, I have like a fighty panel, you know, and nobody ever comes and fights on my panel. So maybe there is a point to that, you know, because I want people to fight and nobody ever fights. But then you want people to be peaceful and everybody just fights. So yeah, maybe.
Oh, that's not true. You get plenty of
There is a
chaos on your
yeah.
panel, brother. You get
maybe, but not as much as I'd like, you know.
Oh,
Well, do you know what, Jack? I think the expression is, you know, they say start. How is it? Finish how you mean to start, or something like this. Like the company you keep, right? I think that may play a big part in it. You know, the company you keep. Like when I came in the game, people see who I was with. When Machine come in the game, you see how he was rocking. When you came in the game, I'm not sure whether people see your collaborations with the Unslavia, but I feel like it's washing off. It's coming to an end. So you're going through the afterbirth of it. You know, you're still covered in the blood of Unslavia. So at the moment, you're attracting, you know, the mosquitoes and the maggots because you're dripped in the blood still. You're dripped in the blood still.
Brother, even actually,
he paid attention, didn't he?
Even with that specific one, with the Unslavia, what Moose was saying, opposites attract, and I have been willing, hoping, focusing, trying to become more loving, and I know for a fact Paul is afraid of love. He doesn't realize that's what he's afraid of, but it's pretty clear to me. And I think many people, maybe, how many of you are afraid of love? Actually,
I think I thought, Paul, I had to think about everybody else, and it looks like most of us are probably in some form afraid of love.
I don't think people are afraid of love. They're afraid of the rejection that can come from it.
Based.
Afraid of vulnerability.
That might even be more, take it, that might even be more precise, yeah.
But I remember that. You're absolutely right. It's the fear of vulnerability, afraid of being open and vulnerable because we're afraid of being hurt by love. And you know what? We miss out when we do that. I did that, and I'm speaking from experience.
Yeah, we create what we fear. If you're afraid to be loved, then you won't be loved.
Exactly. And there's a connection too, I'm confident, in the greater picture of spirituality. There's a connection between God and love. Those two go together. Oh, here, let me preach for just a moment. It was a thought I had recently, okay? It's in line with scripture too. God is good. God is the good, right? So search for the good every day.
I take it.
Yearn for the good, seek the good, know the good, find the good, share the good. That is God's good, right? That's the way.
There was something you said earlier that piqued an interest in me. You were talking about truth, and I was just curious what you think. What do you think's more important, truth or happiness? And is it better to be right or is it better to be good?
Damn rude! You just came with Plato all day. I'm sorry. Go.
That's good. It's far greater. Truth is far more important than happiness. Truth is all that matters. The other one you said was
be right or be good.
Be right or be good. I don't know that you can be good without being right. Can you?
I'm not so sure that the truth
Yes,
shit
you can.
totally inextricable.
Is it better to be good or right?
Well, and then what is right then, Jack?
Right. Right. That's the other question. For me, right is righteous. That which is moral, right.
Okay. I was thinking correct. Truth again. I thought he was kind of stating the same thing. Right as in truth.
Oh, right is inaccurate.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know. What I have learned for myself to overcome my confusion, I needed to know what was true. To overcome my lies, I needed to know what was true. So I started
Can you
worshiping.
be happy without truth? I guess you can. We got plenty of idiots out here. Yeah, that are happy.
There are
I
some
sort of-
truths that can hurt people.
Well,
Yes.
what about the truths that folks perceive for themselves that others do not?
Okay, I
We
think
often say that God or religion is a person's truth, and they will fight to the death for it.
Yeah.
But you could stand outside of it and see that it is just imagination and an Easter
yes.
bunny.
It's in there. Yes.
From
But
another perspective, let's say.
But it may be just as real. At least we know it is to them. It may be real in more aspects. It may. Yeah, you got to get that some weight. Yeah. For instance, I think we all think. I don't know if we all think, but I think Flo is way too attached. He's too attached. He can't even see the feasibility of some of these things that you wear. I wasn't even thinking whether they're right or wrong and all that. I got a lot of arguments to tear them down myself, but I'm examining them. Flo couldn't come there because he's attached. And I'm giving it an analogy that you did. I'm looking like that's a goat. I don't even know what you just called it, but it's phony. So I don't know. I guess I'm trying to say. I just saw what you just said.
Damn.
So I don't pay attention to chat.
There was something else there that came to light. I lost my train of thought there.
Smoking that good shit.
I'm feeling great. I really am at peace and whole.
I got a blueberry wrapper here. Get half of the rest of you cats.
Jack, where are you with truth for yourself, to yourself, and where are you with righteousness, with yourself and to yourself?
Brother, thank you. That was the train of thought I wanted to get back to, was the truth, righteousness. To what I found best for myself. I learned I learned and am learning how to humble myself to the truth. Okay. Now, truth, my truth may be different than someone else's truth, but their truth is true for them. So I had to humble myself to their truth. So I've been practicing allowing truth to be true, right? Listening to and paying attention to others. And when I hear discrepancies or what I view as inaccuracies, I try to maintain relevance, right? Is this a disagreement that's even relevant to addressing? Because people misspeak all the time. I know I do.
Wait, I'm a little bit about your characterizing it as a disagreement. I thought it was his truth to him, your truth to you. I'm not sure that's inherently a disagreement. It's just two people stating something so far.
Well, when the truths don't align, if I'm not able to comprehend what they're saying, I used to engage a lot, right? Engage and I'd confront people with their contradictions or inaccuracies as I saw them. But then I found myself getting in all sorts of arguments and I wasn't really getting what I needed to know. So I've been learning even in myself, working in my own conversations in life. Even though I don't have all the answers, I'm learning what is the question I need to know? What is the purpose of knowing? I'm drifting way off here. Truth. Treat truth like God. What is true is more important than anything. Because if we're not honest with ourselves and others, man, that's not right. And the other part was righteousness. Righteousness is that which we're proud to share, I think. Maybe that's not right.
Yeah, Jack's high or something. With the truth thing, we were talking about there were two different truths. We're calling them that. The truth, that guy thinks he's telling the truth, and even though you looks like bullshit to you, and you know it's bullshit, you have your truth. And you were saying I acknowledge that these people have their alternate truths, and I'm trying to be kind of gentle to them, and then that's where you went off the rails.
There's always two truths though. Like Jack, for him, like religious, like God is the truth. But for me, who believes in like evidence-based science stuff, like God is so far from the truth because it's unproven.
Wait,
Like,
let
I
me
mean,
dispute that. Give me
I got
2
something to
seconds to
disagree on
dispute
this,
that with
actually.
dude, please. I'm not so sure you disagree that God is so
Yeah.
and so. Jack just called
Yeah.
God good. Is good true?
There you
not
go.
always.
You say not always?
No, because the truth can be bad.
The truth can be bad.
Yeah.
The
If you
truth.
like, if a
Wait.
religious,
I don't know if it can be bad, right? It can hurt your ass, but I don't think it makes it bad. It's
Yeah,
because
and
you're a sensitive prick.
I think you rephrased Joe's question. Hold on a second. I think you rephrased Joe's question and answered the rephrasing of the reverse.
My
Not
man, go
is
ahead.
truth good, is good a truth? And instead of just plain truth, is it a truth? Is good
Okay.
a truth?
Right.
There you go. Appreciate it.
No problem.
is good a truth? I don't know.
Yeah, I think what you meant was ugly. You know, the truth can be ugly, but it can't necessarily be bad. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Because the truth will always set you free.
Yeah, it's like the three things that Plato had. He said truth, beauty, and goodness. Now, truth and beauty don't always link, but truth and goodness always link. You know.
That's where I think we was going with that shit. But you could have instilled a few more things. God is just not good. Let's say God is forgiving. God is mercy. God is love. Right? If God is these things, you would say these things instead of me saying they're good, they're healthy. Yeah.
So you're saying because they're good, then they are true.
No, I was going there, but I was taking a long route there. I was going to say I was going to take a long route there. That you believe that these are truths.
See, I don't believe that, because if something's the truth, then it's good. That doesn't work in the reverse. I don't believe that
Okay, I
because it's
get
good,
that
then it's the
part. But do you
truth.
believe your heart does you tell you that these things are true? Fuck whether they hurt a motherfucker or not. These things are truths. If I'm picking the wrong word, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Does your heart tell you these things are good? You can pick these words apart. Does your heart tell you these things are favorable, mercy, forgiving, love?
Yeah, they're good. Yeah, these things are favorable.
All right, Dan was hard to get there.
If truth is not good, then that means lies could be good. So like
You're gonna
lies
confuse
aren't
it.
good.
I was gonna say you said you don't believe in things that aren't scientifically provable. I was gonna say you certainly believe in God. I don't know if you can believe scientifically prove those things, but
Well, Joe,
you
that's
believe
what
in God.
talk about is I've studied the gateway process pretty deeply now, and I have multiple government reports to the DoD and the Department of the Military that describe a unilateral all being that really is built around the things we know in particle physics now. So I would ask Rude,
Okay.
if I was to share something that supported particle physics as we know it, would you find not a faith, because I don't expect you to change anything, Rude, but by the way, I'm just offering it to you as an option. If you saw that there was evidence to suggest
That's
a
where I
connection,
go when I got to
accept
prove
that.
God. I go to particle physics. So I'm interested if
Well,
nobody else is. That's where I go to prove God.
I don't deny that there could be a God. I just don't claim to one because I have no evidence for one. But even if physics did say that there is a God, which God is he? And if that God doesn't claim to be any of these ones, then he didn't want to be worshipped.
Oh, that is a very interesting point, and I would actually agree with you 100%. I think that the worship portion is possibly humans' need to hold on to possession.
Yeah, religion, trying to control motherfuckers, all of that nonsense, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think that I'm fairly
Just
anarchist
early
when it
forms
comes
of
to
government.
religion. So I'm sorry. What did you say, Rude?
They're just early forms of government trying to get people to do better, I guess.
Yeah, and I don't know if you ever heard my point about the fact that the original formation at the Council of Nicaea was a forced act, and it was also a political act that I've always been astonished that like nobody notices that it instated Rome and it is the most powerful political act that has ever been made because Rome still stands to this day.
Yeah, I would agree with all those things. And I'd go further with how fucked up it was, or insidious it was. I'd also say it was a power play. These were the big chiefs, the political ploys. There wouldn't have been no average people in there representing nobody. These were all puppets, the highest of the church, and they're coming up with this. So it's tainted through the gate, all of it.
Jack, you were about to say something there. I could see you raise your hand and throw down.
Excuse me. Thank you. This question, I missed some of the conclusion. I appreciated how, Joe, you presented the good, the unseen good as God, and the truth there with forgiveness, mercy, and such. And I missed
We just mischaracterized them. Too many people in our heads.
Well, it started out because Rude Mud Crab said that we may have a disagreement, that you're physical, you're materialist, you view the material for your answers. I followed that path myself, and I think that's what Aaron was bringing out, the idea of what was that, Monroe Institute, right?
Yes, sir. The Monroe Institute actually developed it for the military in the 70s to promote remote viewing practices, and it was very successful. They ended up using it in a multitude of programs.
They did what in the 70s? I don't know if I.
So the things that people talk about in MK Ultra, one of the subset of the 136 programs that is detailed in Senate judicial hearings that I've read online, actually, in stream, are one of them is the promotion of remote viewing so that we could see what other people were doing.
Okay.
The spying, basically. But
I've read that shit. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
On the way there, they developed this process that is a meditative process that allows for out-of-body experience and then other levels of it. And they've taken it to this very extreme. And the Monroe Institute has this 21 levels of study, of focus, that once you're at the nth of it, the reports say that you experience a null void where you are all one with all information, aka the Akashic record. And it suggests that for a long time, this information was literally suppressed because they took page 25 out of the book. And
I heard about that page. Yeah.
Yeah, they took out a page because the page suggests that at the end, we become part of the all information and we return to add to that information. We're all experiencing over and over. And there's a lot of platitudes to this that are kind of sound woo-woo. But when you apply what they learned to quantum physics or particle physics, it lays perfectly on top of it, from the white hole to the black hole experience, the oval universe, and even the multiplexed universe or holographic universe. It applies to them all. But most importantly, the reason they took page 25 out is because it says, oh, this could unify all world religions, as the beliefs structure in the background says that we all believe the same thing.
Oh, wow.
That's
I wrote page 25.
They took that I think they took that out for a different reason, perhaps, and I think the reason might be because they are trying to create a one world religion, and if you look at some of the people who belong to the MK Ultra project, they went on to an institution called the Esalen Institute, and one of the stated goals of the organization is the planetization of the esoteric, quote unquote.
Really?
Yeah. So
that's bad, is it?
Well, I
didn't know nobody even thought like that. I was just surprised that motherfuckers incorporating the esoteric and shit. But go ahead.
Absolutely, and this goes back.
Planetization of esoteric is code words because the split between the esoteric and the exoteric is an occult distinction.
Yes,
so,
and actually, one of the most important things to know about this is you can find this in a lot of places, like the Ordo Templi, one of the guy who started that cult here in Pasadena. He actually started JPL. There's a lot of these things in the background that are connected to this stuff. But I mean, let's just look at it from the aspect that obviously people in our government are humans too. They understand that there is a metaphysics to the world or something broader and the quantum physics, right? But forget about all that. I think we were onto something. The gentleman up there at the top. I'm sorry. Oh gosh, I should know your name. We've been on panel for about an hour, and I
Machine Lies.
Machine Lies. Yeah. Machine. I think you're very onto something there, because at some point, one of these programs. I mean, there's a lot of programs. There are 136 active ones, right? And they changed the names of the programs. But one of them involves the Kozarov mirror and the remote viewing
That's right.
process. And the Kozarov mirror is the Russian technology, which implies the same thing, but the Kozarov mirror is an amplifier. And that was intended to create visual objects, visual implementation or visual aid for the people who wanted to see the remote viewing. And what it ended up doing, there's tons of reports. There's a whole book, an actual scientific, like peer-reviewed book that shows that like people were seeing holograms. People were seeing things appear in front of them when it was being used. So who knows what they've done with reality?
I've never seen anything really. I've seen all of them talk about it, blah, blah. I've never seen anything that said it was successful. I've never seen anything like
I can
that.
point to the paperwork in the CIA library that says it's successful. And they wouldn't keep...
To what end? What are they able to do with it? How successful is it?
Man, the programs are wide.
Who knows?
I mean, you know, in the beginning when they took this shit off, when they took off with it, they thought they had some successes. When they began that shit, they did it with fighting Russia. They thought they had shit, and they documented and they called them successes when they was giving these niggas all that LSD and shit.
Yeah,
hey, Joe,
but when it came to how many motherfuckers actually saw a thing that they could document and all of that shit, no, it was they didn't have.
We haven't heard a side of this, which is that the ultimate successes, because we wouldn't know them. We wouldn't know what they fixed. We wouldn't know what
it would have been a psyop, which is
Hey, have you heard about those night vision goggles? Have you heard about the night vision goggles and the gunners on the? They were in like World War II, right? They put these goggles on, right? Vietnam. There you go. And these gunner people, they were on the guns, and the pilots are like, "What the fuck is going on?" And these gunners are shooting, and they're shooting at spirits. They're shooting at that like demons or something that they're seeing because they had this dye inside those goggles, so they can see.
There's a red lens as opposed to the green.
I heard the story. You guys have looked into it because I haven't. I've heard the story. It's not one that I repeat unless I looked into it. You guys have?
I haven't. You can't buy it. You can't get that stuff. It's illegal.
By the way, one of the things I wanted to point out is how we know those things are actually effective in some way, shape, or form is by the absence of the programs being canceled.
The absence of them being canceled shows that they are, or the acts of them being canceled.
Well, no, if they were canceled, they wouldn't be effective. They're active, meaning that for some reason they feel that they're effective, or that they are continuing to go through the process to another end goal enough to where they feel that it's effective to keep going. They wouldn't spend the money on it. There's too many of them.
But he is saying that they see goggles that see spirit. What they still spending the money on that shit?
I have never read anything about that. I have heard a lot about that, but I've never read anything. I've never looked for it.
I've heard the story, but I've never looked into it.
You could buy fake ones on Amazon, but you can't get the real deal. You cannot get the real deal.
Well, if we want to talk about multiple reality, like laid across one another, that kind of thing, or the the holographic universe and the multiplex universe, that's a complex altogether.
That was you most. I do think there is a possibility that what you were saying was true. I'm arguing against it, but there is a way. And if you had new technologies, that's the best way to see it. You have a good argument too. I'm sorry, I didn't want to.
No, you're good, Joe. No, I think that it's I would gather that there's got to be technology out there that puts like certain light frequencies out of phase. I'm sure that there's glasses of some, and we have that with FLIR technology clearly.
Exactly.
We're
and when you're mixing it and coming about finding new shit, there's so much shit out here in the, outside of the visible light spectrum. Of course, you're gonna stumble on something.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was heading with. Exactly, Joe. Is that we only see so much light spectrum. We only see so much color spectrum and depth spectrum. So I'm sorry, Jack. You're looking like you'd like to jump in here, or that we've gone off rail.
No, I do want to jump in. We've got a Dr. Quiver in the back. Was that familiar to
anybody?
I don't ring about.
No, not to me.
All right. Hold on.
I'll have a quick look on YouTube.
Hello,
Dr. Quiver.
I'm Dr. Quiver. I have a comment about something you said earlier, You were, but you like touched it and then you went away from it, and I'm curious. You were saying that the truth that should be lying should be banned or outlawed.
Secrets should no longer be legal.
Oh,
And
they
it
should be
would.
legal. What is your bank account number, Jack Talbot?
For what purpose?
I would like to know what your bank account number is. Why won't you tell me?
Oh, you're misunderstanding. You're extrapolating to the furthest end. He said specifically, and I asked him to clarify this. He's talking about government scale secret and
Right.
How do you differentiate between the government and who can tell a lie and who can't tell a lie?
Here, Quiver.
Dr. Quiver, sir.
Yeah.
Dr. Quiver, yeah.
So you claim. Here's the way the truth is known specifically. It's through relevance. Okay. And so you're asking about who can lie. Why would you lie? This is the whole point. Truth frees us.
If your wife asks you if the dress she's wearing makes her look fat,
you don't care to know, you care to interrupt. So Dr. Quiver, thanks for stopping by.
By the way, that's extrapolative thought, and it is reactionary extrapolative thought. And meaning that you're reacting to it, and you think you can take it to some place that's unrealistic, and you've extrapolated it out to the furthest end of the possibilities, and it's not realistic anymore. It's not connected, and I would say, in Jack's defense, it's not engaged with the conversation.
Yeah, but even in his example, you're better off telling her she looks fat, because like if she doesn't want to look fat, then change the dress.
Here. You might not get laid that night, but hey, it's honesty.
I'd rather be honest than although there's a time for silence.
Oh, we all learned that, right?
As I say that, though, that's what I'm suggesting we overcome is the silence of some of our government officials, these people in positions of authority who are allowed to deflect and obfuscate, and ignore questions that are actually pretty relevant. Like, why are we opening the fucking checkbook and just giving free reign to the military industrial complex right
now? A lot of it is because of our verbiage. The people in authority, they are not authority. So we're giving them so much fucking power every time we even refer to these cats. The people who work for us, the people who serve us.
Joe, that's just it. That's what I'd like to have a conversation with some of these people in these positions. Remind them of their duties to the communities, to the people, not to the budget, not to the profits. There's an obligation that people have not. You know what? It's not just the people in government. It's the corporate, the managers, the executives. It's even the people playing bosses, treating their co-workers, their employees like shit. I mean, this society we've created it's
You think you're gonna talk them up out of that by getting in a few ears? You can talk them up out of that.
Hey Joe, I put the name of the dye is dicyanin, and I put it inside the chat so you can look it up if you want. Sorry, Jack.
I'll forget that because I'm literally smoking right now, but I am interested, but I'll forget that. Thank you, though. I'll be asking Jack again.
Out there.
Yes, I'll go with the goggles with the so-and-so just because this shit is called, this dicyanide or whatever you call it, it gives no evidence of credence. It helps none, right? Because if you know what the drug is, everybody would throw them in goggles. The shit would be all over YouTube and fucking TikTok by you saying that it didn't give it any credence, right? Right? In my opinion.
Right. I'm just saying, go down the rabbit hole. Go look it up.
I can go down and look up the goggle, blah, blah, and look it up. Yeah.
You could look up the people that were actually there and their stories.
That's where I began.
They only used them for about 2 months, and then they banned them.
I bet you cats are all hearing it from the same fucking source. It just sounds like it.
The relevance to this, though, I think, is the fact that there's experience, testimony, people who they're seeing beyond just the veils of what we can see. And just imagine what might be Imagine what technology might be hidden behind the paywalls or hidden behind some of these fucking
Yeah.
corporations and governments.
Hey, Jack, and don't forget that a lot of times it is public. These things are public, and it just gets tossed to the background because everything gets swamped because history is just so much stuff happening all at once. And I mean, what about all the cars in the 70s that ran on water, or the guy who, you know, I'll be like, there's so many things that have gone down that people are like, this needs to exist. And like, yeah, it does exist. Nobody cared about it when it happened. It was ahead of its time. That's the famous statement of the 80s and 90s. It's ahead of its time, you know, because so many things were, and they just got left to the wayside and nobody picked them up. And then there was no money or support or interest or some company. My dad always told me a story of an inventor he knew who had a patent for a chainsaw that ran on water, steam, you know, and some big company came and bought the patent and put it on the shelf. And we will never probably see it, or unless they integrate it.
That was the one I was waiting for you to say. I was going, those things are more likely it was killed or usurped. Yeah.
Well, this is why I'm so fixated on ending these secrets, right? The technology is there. And we talked about it a little bit the other day, and not to bring up the name again.
The technology is there. We're talking about just being going in and hacking their shit. Is that what we're talking about? The technology is there.
If you pay attention to if even some of what Stephen Greer is talking about with the Disclosure Project and some of the stuff that he claims, then there is evidence of technology that can totally transform our world, change us. We could change. We're at a precipice right now of humanity.
I need a whole lot more details. You can't end up on Steve. You know, I mean, he got technology that can change
All right.
Yeah.
Well, there's potential right now. It's light here, according to Greer and what he's suggesting. These technologies already exist. They're being used by some of the covert agencies and such, but there's technologies where the
It'll change our life for the better. How? Yeah.
0 point energy creation, where we could have free energy devices either at every home or every community, where we're not tied to all the gas and electric prices. And
yeah, that's a good one.
Beyond the bad, not just the fuel driven vehicles and the battery driven vehicles, there's technologies. We're at the precipice, allegedly, where there's people that, if we can develop this a safe, free energy device, we can, you know what, if we just break free of the patents and the control of the corporations and the governments, if there's many entrepreneurs and inventors who have solved their solution for most of the world's problems, it's just a matter of us changing our value system.
They won't let you have it. Without a fight for resources, then governments won't have excuses to go to war.
That's the whole point. Let's take away the government's belief that they have an option for war. And we can do that when if our corporations and our governments aren't keeping secrets against the citizens and other nations, we would have more peace, right? Because there wouldn't be as many enemies. It's our secrets and lies that create the enemies. And it's happened at a national level, a corporate level, individual level. We lie to ourselves and we say we can't get along.
Yes, I would absolutely agree with that shit. I've done it with 12 niggas today. I know it's possible. Why would a fool use that argument in front of me? I agree with you.
Hey, Jack, I need to get out of here. It's past my bedtime.
All right, London.
It's been a pleasure. Been a pleasure, gentlemen.
Yeah,
great night.
Yeah,
great night.
Yeah, good to talk to you. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, London, respect to you. I was actually just having similar thoughts. Not about going to bed, but thinking it's about time to wrap up. We've had some great conversations today.
But no sex, bro. No sex.
That's my life, man.
I'm out.
Hey, I do feel like wrapping this up. We've had great conversations. And somewhat some of my crazy ideas have been entertained a little bit. I feel better about that.
Good. All right. I'm gonna get out of here. It's been beautiful as always. You cats being some of my friends were in here. I may or may not have known a couple of the cats in here. I'm not saying.
Respect, Joe.
Oh,
thank you, mate.
Later, Joe. Yeah, Jack. I've been up here for a while. Thank you for the time. I always appreciate this. This is the only place to have this kind of discussion at this kind of level of tone and have people just hear each other out. And I've seen the changes you've made in some pretty extreme folks now, and it keeps getting better and better. So I just want to tell you that to remind yourself that you are actually affecting people on a daily basis, even if it's very tiny and you can't see it. So I appreciate you for having this. And Machine, great points tonight. Rude, thank you for taking part, and great points as well. I think this is a lovely space, man. So y'all have a good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll follow suit. I'll get out of here. Yeah, I don't agree with you about truth and good, but I think it's probably definitely way too late to touch on that.
Tell you what,
Yeah, we got to talk about that sometime.
I invite you back, please. Okay.
Yeah. It's all good.
If you at least have the willingness, I know we can find some common ground, and that's the key. That's the key to it all.
Because one thing I will say about it, if it was the truth that there was no God, I think that truth wouldn't be good.
Respect. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And Machine, subbed up to you, dude. I'll catch some of your stuff. A couple of things you said I liked.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
I'll catch up.
Yeah, thank you. I'd love to have you. Yeah, bless
Too
you.
easy, man. Have a good day or night.
Respect, brother. You too. Well, you and I, my friend, thank you. Thank you sincerely for
Thank
what
you, brother Jack. I just wanted to say to the for the edification of the audience that we talked about, I talked about at the beginning, 3 types of duality. One psychological, the second, between ourselves, in terms of humanity. I guess you could look at that as between the individual and the collective. And then the last kind is a metaphysical duality where we separate mind and nature. For the first one, I touched on that quite a bit in terms of the psychological duality. It can be summed up in focusing on the goal and not the task we're working on. Focusing on too much on end results. For the metaphysical duality, it's about seeing ourselves separate from nature, and for that we have to consult the philosophy of mind. We have to think deeply about these problems. And for the last thing, which I didn't really touch on, is the duality between each other, and that we have to kind of there's a dual danger there. One is between a universalism that cancels out all of our uniqueness, and the other is between a neo-tribalism where we all become separated into little factions and easy to control, sort of neo-factionalism. So yeah, thank you guys for considering these topics with me and Jack Talcott, and many more discussions this year between us on the nature of duality. So you guys please tune in with us. Thank you.
Respect. Much love, my brother. Excuse me. And sincerely, all of you who joined the panel today, sincerely, I appreciate all of you. Conversations, well, we don't always get along and we don't always find agreement. So far, I know we're all learning together. And I know that in this life that we're sharing, the paradox, the dualities, the splits, the divisions, they are real. There are those splits between each of us, between our mind, our thoughts and our emotions, between our balance of the past and the future versus the present. So there's a lot of divisions in this world that can cause us to stumble, cause us to react, lash out, maybe even choose some self-destructive behavior. Our stumbles in life, they can bring us down, but the quicker you pick yourself up, someone had a comment about that earlier today. The quicker you can pick yourself up after you stumble, the stronger you're going to be, right? And it's okay to fall. It's okay to stumble. It's okay to misspeak. I'm going to say this cautiously. It's okay to sin. A sin is a mistake to be repaired, to be made, right? And we're all going to miss the mark. We're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to stumble and fall on different times and in different ways. But brothers and sisters, those falls don't have to keep us in the mud. They don't have to keep us in the dark. They don't have to keep us in poverty. They don't have to keep us feeling all broken and alone. These falls, brothers and sisters, that's where we find out what we're made of. How strong can we become after? What can we do in spite of, right? Fear is what if? Oh no, what if? And that faith in self, that confidence of knowing, that peace within that's found with the consciousness of flow, consciousness of adaptation, the consciousness of faith in the divine, the process of time. Going with those, I forgot where I was going to land, but I know that feels priceless. Feels priceless to have peace within, to know that you have overcome the limits that duality has presented. It's pretty simple, actually, now that I'm saying these words. To overcome the suffering that duality has presented to you, enjoy. Find joy. Enjoy the hell out of your life and choose love, my brothers and sisters. I'm likely at this point of today, I'm likely going to take a couple days off, but it's for intention and for productivity, I assure you. If not, I will be back tomorrow, and please do the notification subscription so that you know when we return. And thank you again for everyone. Peace, choose love, and live without fear. Thank you all. God bless us.